Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and...
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-234-0316. 800-234-0316. That's 800-234-0316.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-234-0316. 800-234-0316. That's 800-234-0316.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Out to Lunch with WRMN. We are broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. It's a beautiful sunny day outside today. It's Thursday, which means we're getting closer to the weekend. That's pretty exciting. Hopefully you've got some fun weekend plans. Hopefully you had a good night last night. My brother and I watched Beetlejuice for the first time. You'd think I would have seen it by now, and I hadn't, so... saw it for the first time last night. It was very good. I enjoyed it very much so. Very much encompasses Tim Burton in its fullest, for sure. So now over the weekend, Brian and I are hoping to go see Beetlejuice in the theater. So, because it's still fresh in our minds, for sure there. Definitely a strange movie, but a good strange. I like it, of course, Tim Burton. Hopefully everyone's having a good morning so far here. Welcome to the show. If you want to be, of course, a part of the conversation here on WRMN AM 1410, you can feel free, of course, to join us live here, not only on YouTube, but, of course, also through our Image 360 info line, 505-926-1410. Feel free to leave little comments there, too, if you'd like, through that text line. Again, 505-926-1410. You can also, of course, be a part of the conversation live here on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. If you'd like to like the video and hit that subscribe button if you would like to do that. The stage is yours if you want to do that. You don't have to. Totally chill if you don't want to, but it doesn't cost you anything. You can keep up to date in the loop with what's happening here on WRMN and within what is going on in the Fox River Valley. Speaking of which, here we'll take a look at the temperatures and weather that we're going to be seeing here for the area. Looking at the temperatures right now, we're at 76. Sunny throughout the whole day today. Beautiful sunny skies, blue skies here today. Very low wind speed that's going to be accumulating today of only about 5 miles per hour or so. Then we get more towards the afternoon and evening. We start to see it pick up a bit and then die down a little bit more here. We see a high of 87 degrees, dropping down to a low of 62 degrees as we get into Thursday night. As we get closer to the weekend, we approach here with Friday, high of 83 degrees. So again, we're seeing the summer weather, and it's going to be going all the way through till next week too. I'm looking forward to the fall weather, but I'm not complaining because it is supposed to be pretty much mostly sunny, and I would much rather, I do like the sun. It definitely brightens up everyone's day, figuratively and also literally as well. So I'm not complaining too much. We have a high of 83 coming up tomorrow for Friday. We see a low of 62 degrees as we get into Friday night. It's supposed to be partly cloudy. We do see a little chance of mostly cloudy skies kind of into the morning time, then starting to gradually clear up a little bit here as we get into Friday evening, and then back to being a little bit more mostly cloudy as we get into Friday night. Saturday rolls around here. We see a high of 86 with a low of 65 degrees. Predicted to be pretty much mostly cloudy outside. That's the prediction for Saturday. Sunday rolls around, predicted to be pretty much cloudy throughout the entirety of the day, with a high of 85 degrees, seeing a low of 63 degrees for Sunday night. Then we head on into next week. We are approaching here the middle of September. We see a high of pretty much Monday through Thursday, high around 84 to 86 degrees is what we're seeing here. For Monday, predicted to be pretty much mostly cloudy throughout the day, clearing up to be a little bit more partly cloudy as we get into Monday night, low of 61. We see a high of 85 for Tuesday, partly cloudy throughout the day, with it then becoming clear with periodic clouds into Tuesday night, low of 61 degrees. Heading on into Wednesday, we do see here a high of 84 degrees, dropping down to a low of 62 for Wednesday night, predicted to be mostly sunny outside. So we're going to see for Monday and Tuesday, mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, and then a little bit more sunny, and then back to being a little bit more partly cloudy as we get into next Thursday, high of 86 with a low of 62. That's the weather and temperatures predicted for the area. Taking a look here, starting off the day with a nice little story here brought to you by sunnyskies.com. Sunnyskies.com are all the inspirational and feel-good stories to start off your day here. Whether you got a cup of coffee in hand, maybe you're having your breakfast right now, maybe you're preparing to go out to lunch. We can take you out to lunch here, of course, here at WRMN. And we'll start off here with All Good News by sunnyskies.com. Now, this is by a user. This was posted today onto sunnyskies.com, titled, "To the Dad with His Family Behind Us." They write this: "To the dad with his family behind us at EB Games today who heard us trying to get our hands on a Zelda sword for my son, and that was not stocked anymore, and we had to pay $20 postage. We were about to leave and hunt it down somewhere. However, you casually offered to add it to your own family's purchases. So thank you. I was stunned and didn't know how to react to the other than to accept your offer of kindness. It's not often that these things happen, and I have always told my son that if you do kind things, then good things will come back to you." So grateful for him to experience this. He's the most beautiful boy, with the kindest heart, and he deserves everything. He has been saving his pocket money up for this and had 2 more weeks until he could afford it. We will not forget this, and we promise to pay it forward. Very nice. A nice little story there. Now, something I've also failed to mention too here also, if you want to share your own story, you can do that too. So if you click on any of these stories here, there's also a share your story. So it's after the story is done, it's usually there that you can check out previous story, next story, or even share your story. So if you want to click on that, it's a green button that says share your story. What you can do is put your title, your name, it could be real name, nickname, or also just, by a friend, anonymous, your email address, and then writing your story too. And then you could submit the story for yourself. So, you hear me talking about a lot of these inspirational stories. You can create your own too, or really submit your own story as well as some of the inspirational stories. So you can post your story about a random act of kindness, good karma, success, love, anything that will put readers in a good mood. These stories are what appear in the, quote, inspirational stories section of the website. So please know that all submitted stories are not live until approved by Sunny Skies. So it, of course, does have to be approved by them. So pretty cool site to go to. Of course, I like to use it so that I can start you off the day with a little nice inspirational story. We also do want to touch base here too, posted on Fox Valley Magazine today about the sheriff's office warning of new phone scams that's making the rounds in the Fox Valley. So of course we do want to talk about this here too to inform you. A new phone scam seems to be making the rounds on the Fox Valley involving thieves representing themselves as police officers. I know we've been also seeing and hearing about this too lately. According to the Will County Sheriff's Office, residents have been receiving calls from a, quote, no caller ID and or number 815-740-5552 wherein a man identifies himself as a deputy or sergeant from the Will County Sheriff's Office and informs the victim that they have a warrant out for their arrest due to failing to appear in court for the jury duty. In order to clear up the contempt of court warrant, victim is told that they must pay $4,000. One victim reported that she asked the scammer to provide verification that the call was legitimate. The scammer told her to hang up from the no caller ID call and called her back with that same number, that phone number here, which indicated the Will County Sheriff's Office Warrant Division caller ID. The victim, still being suspicious, did a Google search of the number, which was verified that the number belonged to the Will County Sheriff's Office Warrant Division. The victim then agreed to pay the money, but informed the scammer that she only had $2,500. The fraudulent police officer agreed to the sum and instructed her to go to a Jewel Bitcoin kiosk, and the victim transferred the $2,500 to the scammer. What is notable about the scam, and others like it, is that the scammers are often using names of deputies and sergeants that currently work at the sheriff's office and the caller ID number of the sheriff's warrant division. In fact, it's in fact the actual number too. So they have a way of getting around with that. So it's important to keep in mind. It's important to learn what to do here. According to the Will County Sheriff's Office, the primary defense against this and other prone scammers is to never send money to anyone unless you have initiated the contract or are speaking with a recognizable company or organization that you have had prior business with. Caution should also be taken when receiving a call or email from your bank, special offer deals, computer virus alerts, and claims that a friend or relative is in need of money. Citizens should be aware that no police agency or government agency will call for payments of any kind, including arrest warrants. So throwing that information out there to you so that you know about it. You can read more on this, of course. This is posted onto foxvalleymagazine.com. So that's where you'll find it. If you just go to foxvalleymagazine.com, exploring life in the Fox, it's the first thing that comes up here. So good to keep you in the loop with that news. Yeah, those scam calls, not good. Especially with the growth of AI. It's like, oh boy. Take a look at the time here. It is 10:17. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN in just a bit. Stay tuned.
As grocery prices rise, take your family out to any of the Tommy's Red Hots location for great food at unbelievably low prices. There's 6 locations to serve you for both dine-in or carry-out. Tommy's has a diverse, delicious menu for you and your family with crispy pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and their famous hot dogs, plus so much more. Don't forget their scrumptious sides like mac and cheese bites. To see their menu and locations, visit Tommy'sRedHots.com today.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. Fake sneakers, fake cosmetics, and even fake pills. Crooks are selling counterfeit versions of just about everything. Last year, billions of dollars worth of counterfeit products were sold in the U.S. Sure, it may seem like saving a few bucks on the things you want isn't a big deal, but counterfeits are usually made in unsafe conditions, potentially using hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you've paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals and may support child labor, drugs, and even gangs. Smells like big crime to me. So if you still think buying fake products is harmless, think again. And remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart, buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
WRMN says thank you to all of our local veterans, like Jerry Christofferson of True Patriots Care.
We had the 1,700 flags up across from the wall. That's how many POWs and MIAs from Vietnam are still missing. Plus, we do veterans and first responders funerals.
Yeah.
And so if you ever drive by a funeral home or a church or a cemetery and you see the flags, you know a soldier died today.
Go to TruePatriotsCare.com for more information. And veterans, thank you for your service to our country.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast, right here on WRMN 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Newry with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Whether you're working third shift or you're just a night owl, catch the most listened to overnight talk radio program in North America, Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
From morning coffee to your evening commute, WRMN 1410 AM is here for you. The faithful friend that brings you local news, timely topics, and the friendliest voices in the Valley. Stay informed, entertained, and engaged with our full lineup of shows, streaming all day, every day at WRMN1410.com or on the WRMN app. Wherever you are, we're right there with you. So why switch stations? Stick with the one that has it all. WRMN 1410 AM, your daily companion, your constant conversation.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. We hope you're enjoying your day so far. It's still the morning time, the Elgin time of 10:20, approaching 10:21. So hopefully you're having a good morning so far. Got your cup of coffee in hand. Maybe you're keeping hydrated as we are in the 80s today, seeing the summer weather continuing on throughout the rest of this week and into next week as well. So, of course, good to be prepared. What we'll do here is actually, I think what I'll do here is because we got about, I would say maybe 8 minutes left. I'll go through some of the other news and then we'll also touch base with Travel Midwest, kind of go through some of the traffic there a little bit here too. And then when we get to the bottom of the hour, we'll take a break and then we'll go into places to consider going to. And I actually have in particular a section on Explore Elgin area page I wanted to talk about, which I think is pretty good, especially if you want to do some bike riding. So we'll talk a little bit about that here in just a bit. So we did just touch base here with the Fox Valley Magazine, talking about the sheriff's office warning that phone scam that's making the rounds in the Fox Valley. And then again, involving thieves representing themselves as police officers. So of course, always good to be careful and to be mindful of what's going on there too. Now, this is also a story. This was posted on CBSNews.com about a suburban Chicago mother, actually from Elgin, is suing daughter's middle school, alleging teachers' use of racial slurs. This was posted a couple hours ago, about an hour and a half or so ago, onto CBSNews.com. So Chicago CBS covers this news, as we also announce it here since it's within the Elgin area. It's in Elgin. Northwest suburban mother is suing her daughter's middle school, accusing her 6th grade teacher of using racial slurs in front of a classroom full of students. Lawyers from Amika Richardson said the incident happened 1 year ago at Ellis Middle School in Elgin. Richardson plans to file the lawsuit Thursday morning. So that would be then today. It names the Board of Education in Elgin, the school district, Ellis Middle School, and the female staff member accused of using the slur. The lawsuit claims the teacher intentionally discriminated against Richardson's 6th grade daughter by calling her the N-word and, quote, mentally ill in front of other students. According to the suit, her daughter is a student with an individualized education program, or IEP. Richardson's lawyers said that the teacher violated the Equal Educational Opportunity Act and Illinois Civil Rights Act. CBS News Chicago has reached out to the Elgin School Board about the lawsuit, but has not heard back. So that was posted onto CBSNews.com. That was posted onto there. Now, here's actually a pretty inspirational story covered by CBS News. As we know, of course, yesterday was 9/11, or it was the Memorial Day of 9/11 that happened back in 2001. And I think that people like me, for example, I don't remember it. There are, again, people my age and some even younger that do happen to remember the day. I don't remember it in particular. And then, of course, there are many people that don't remember it or weren't alive when it happened. But I do have an inspirational story here for you. Young people who weren't around for 9/11 attended Naperville, Illinois Memorial to learn valuable lessons. I think that this is great because sometimes we think to ourselves like, oh, the younger generation, they're not gonna, they didn't experience it, they don't remember it, so they're not gonna want to learn about it. But this here shows proof and some hope as well too. So this is posted by CBSNews.com by Sarah Mackey of CBS News. So I wanted to share it with you. On the 23rd anniversary of the attacks of September 11, 2001, Chicagoans paused to remember the lives lost. It was an emotional night at a memorial in Naperville for Commander Dan Sanauer, a West Suburban native who was killed in the attack on the Pentagon. In the immediate aftermath of the September 11th attacks, the United States of America was a nation united. What was beautiful about this too was there was crowds of hundreds of people that were in attendance. Some in the crowd were too young to have seen that unity. Sophia Pozo, age 13, said here, quote, "My mom has been saying that she was teaching class when 9/11 happened. The youngsters lean on their parents, their teachers, and adults who do remember." According to Harper Sheritz, age 12, writes here, quote, "Our generation needs to know more about it because we weren't there, so we don't know the emotions, the thoughts, or what was actually happening." And I think it's important, and I think people should speak about it more, end quote. So that's a beautiful thing too, when you realize that there are people out there, even if they don't remember it, that do care, even if they weren't alive when it happened. They also learn proactively about the attacks and the country's response too. So again, I think that that's great that a younger generation, this in particular, this situation, that they are being a part of it, that they are recognizing it, not just kind of brushing it off. So that's really cool. A student by the name of Elizabeth McConkey wrote an essay for the Naperville ceremony herself. She actually wrote an essay here. She writes here, quote, "President Bush said in his address to the nation on the September 11th attack, today our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America, with the daring of the rescue workers, with the care of strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help any way that they could," end quote. So again, you're seeing younger people here too, also recognizing it too. And like I said before, not just brushing it off. Of course, there are those out there that will, but I think that that's good that sometimes we think, oh, I don't know, they weren't there, they weren't alive, they're not going to care. And it shows here that there are people out there, the younger people, that do care. So it's inspirational. And I wanted to share that with you here too. Brought to you by CBS News. So thank you to Sarah Mackey of CBSNews.com for covering this story. Thank you so much. We'll take a little bit here, look at the traffic. We'll see the traffic here, talk a little bit about that, of course, within the Fox River Valley area. We'll take a look and see what's happening here. Of course, traffic a little bit lighter here because it's still kind of earlier in the morning. Of course, and actually even here too, it's a little bit lighter within the Chicagoland area as well. Usually gets a little bit heavier, of course, when we get into that rush hour there. But as of right now, nothing too bad. So that sounds pretty good. Some construction, of course. And we're seeing on 294, actually quite a bit of construction on 294 here as well. Some road work here. SB I-294 Tri-State from near Illinois 64 to near St. Charles Road. Both shoulders are closed, but all lanes are open. The duration has been 488 days. So we are seeing a little lineup of construction here too that we are seeing. If you look on here too, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it as well. Along that route. Just a little clump of construction going on right now. Some things further out too. 355s have a couple things here as we get closer to the intersection of 38 there as well. There's a little bit of construction there too with some road work, but nothing too over the top as of right now within the area too, of course. So if you want to check it out, travelmidwest.com. Pretty good site to use to keep you up to date with what's happening as well too. So So very good. Yes, yes, yes. You can also take a look at some road footage. Some cameras there too, which is nice. You can kind of see. Last updated. You can see the traffic's a little bit lighter today, as a lot of people have already been at work or are at work right now. We get closer, of course, into the afternoon. We start to see the traffic kind of getting a little bit heavier because people are ready to go home. We are getting into the bottom of the hour news and messages from our sponsors. When we come back, I'll give you a suggestion on a place to go here, and we'll also talk a little bit about something called Stops on the Fox. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN in just a bit.
With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Linzess. This weekend, Elgin comes alive with the vibrant Fiesta de Elgin celebration honoring Mexican Independence Day and ushering in Hispanic Heritage Month. The festivities are set to transform downtown Elgin and Festival Park into a cultural spectacle. The Elgin City Council has streamlined the payment process for 3 key local taxes: motor fuel tax, hotel or motel rental tax, and the alcoholic liquor tax. The new system allows businesses to handle their obligations more conveniently via an online platform. In a thrilling display of talent and perseverance, Naperville North alumna Sarah Annam clinched a silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris. The monumental achievement followed her victory at the 2023 Parapan American Games. Competing in wheelchair rugby, Adam made history as the first woman on the U.S. Paralympic mixed team. With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Major League Baseball, the Cubs defeated the LA Dodgers on Tuesday night 6-3, scoring 5 runs in the 8th inning. 3 of those runs came on Dodger errors. Seiya Suzuki with an RBI single, Pete Crow Armstrong had 2 RBIs. While the White Sox, they were shut out by the Cleveland Guardians. They lose 5-0. The White Sox committed 2 errors and were held to 5 hits in the loss. Layton Thomas with a 3-run home run for Cleveland. The Chicago Bears will be heading to Houston to take on the Texans Sunday night, coming off a Week 1 win against the Tennessee Titans where they did not score an offensive touchdown. The Bears may be without wide receiver Rome Odunze, who has suffered an MCL sprain and is week to week. Houston is coming off a Week 1 victory against the Indianapolis Colts. And in college football, Illinois will be home on Saturday at Memorial Stadium as they take on Central Michigan. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. We hope you're enjoying the show so far, that you're having a good Thursday morning. As we take you out to lunch, we give some suggestions on some places to go to within the Fox River Valley. Now, of course, lots of the websites that I bring up here too are there to help you to visually see, if you're watching on youtube.com, to visually see some of the great places featured here. And of course, I always like to give you links to websites here too, so that of course you can also take a look at it for yourself as well. There you go. We're helping each other out, working together. Again, you're listening to WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk of the Town. Yes, 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 absolutely. Celebrating 75 years of community broadcasting. You can check out our website, WRMN1410.com. Take a look at our show lineup. And don't forget about this here too, just posted now onto our website, the weekly football contest presented by Rookies. You know it, it's the Rookies Pick 6. Absolutely. Learn a little bit more about this, and what we'll do is actually, since we're here now, I was going to talk about some places, and I will, but what I want to do is I do want to mention this here too. We'll talk a little bit about this. So if you're unfamiliar with this, how it works. So each week during the NFL season, listeners have the chance to win a $25 gift card to Rookies All-American Sports Bar and Grill. Now, this is a certificate that is also redeemable at any of the following restaurants that are, again, Karis family restaurants. Village Squire, come on now, yes. The burgers, you get the popcorn. Oh my goodness, the Saganaki, delicious. Here, I'm already giving you some suggestions on places to go to here as we're taking you out to lunch. Old Republic Bar and Grill, they always have live music. Ever since COVID, when they started to expand the outside, it was a hit, and it still is a huge hit. That's really, people love sitting outside and listening to the band. So that's definitely something good that came out of 2020 COVID, when they didn't eat inside, they had to eat outside. I said, hey, we're gonna keep having people coming here. We're not going to stop, and they built a nice big stage outside, and it's still a hit to this day, so it definitely worked out. That's Old Republic Bar and Grill. And also Alexander's Restaurant, which is a great place to get some good breakfast. I do like the meaty skillet there, too. A nice iced coffee, iced latte, that's pretty good there, too. They also do offer some seasonal flavors as well. And of course, also Rookies, All-American Pub and Grill. So you can get some good burgers, you can get wings, enjoy the game, kick back, have a nice beer. So again, each week during the NFL season, listeners have the chance to win a $25 gift card to Rookies All-American Sports Bar and Grill, and also the following Karis family restaurants that you can use it at as well. Now, how to participate. Of course, the first shift listeners already know this, but if you're maybe not a first shift listener and you want to participate in this, this is how you do it. You simply submit your picks via email to Mark, that's Marky B, Mark Bielek, at WRMN1410.com each week, and the weekly winner will be announced every Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. So that's at 8:15 a.m. every Wednesday on the First Shift Show on WRMN, which runs from 6 to 10. You can use, there's buttons that you can use, so they have the weekly picks sheet, and then email Mark your picks. So they have those at the top of the page there in the middle of the page. When you click on that link to, it's actually WRMN1410.com/football contest. If you look at the bar at the top there, you'll see it's listed as football contest. And we also do have it added now to right next to the daily deals and about us on our website, the Pick 6 contest. There's also a link there too on our website. So that's an easy way to do that. So again, it's announced every Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. on the First Shift Show with WRMN. You can use the buttons to download the pick sheets and then email them to Mark. Now, the prize collection winners will be contacted by phone and have the following options for pickup on their certificates. So again, throwing this out there so that you know. You can pick up in person at WRMN. We're located here at 14 Douglas Avenue during the Saturday business hours. So that is, of course, during the Saturday business hours of Redemption Center. And that's at actually, so actually it's 16 Douglas Avenue. So here is Studio 14. This is Studio 14. Next door is, again, 16 Douglas Avenue. That's where Redemption Center is. That's during Saturday business hours. So that's Saturday business hours also lumping into there too. Of course, that's when we're open, is 9 to 12 in Redemption Center. My brother Ryan is there. He can take your orders. And then, of course, if you happen to be a winner, you can come on in and pick it up. That's during the Saturday business hours. Have the certificate mailed directly to them too, so you can also request if you would like that mailed directly. Please note, contestants are only eligible to win once every 30 days. So that's something good to remember there too. We want to, of course, expand the horizon on, of course, winners. And we want everyone to have a chance to win here. So there you go. Each weekly winners receive a $25 gift card from the Wookiees All-American Sports Bar and Grill. And again, the certificate also redeemable at Village Squire, Old Republic Bar and Grill, or Alexander's Cafe. Again, announced every Wednesday morning at 8:15. So just wanted to put that information out there to you. Throw that ball of information out there to you as we get into the weekly football contest. And again, the weekly picks sheets is available on our website, WRMN1410.com. You'll be able to download it there too. You can see for the next one here, circle your team of choice for Sunday, September 15th, the away games and the home games. Things for Sunday night, of course, we've got the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. You can also try out, they've got the tiebreaker final score of game there too. And then, of course, that information that I just read is also featured here as well. So you can download this for yourself, available in PDF format, or you can also print it out for yourself too. So you can download it and print it, and there you go. You're set and ready to go. Yes, yes, yes. So very nice. If you want to check it out, that's on our website, WRMN1410.com. Now, I wanted to bring up here too, this is called the Stops on the Fox. So this is a part of ExploreElginArea.com. It includes here, of course, as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. So it Stops on the Fox. If you want to check it out, it's hitting the trails and enjoying the outdoors. And I'm mentioning this here too, Stops on the Fox, because it's still the summer weather season here. So if you prefer to ride bicycles, there's a guy riding his bicycle right now as I said it. There you go. And so if you want to enjoy the summer weather, it's still happening. It's still going on right now. You can grab or rent a bike, discover highlights within the Fox River Bike Trail before the seasonal shift. And I say this, and they say it here too, before the seasonal shift, because you still have time. We're getting closer to the middle of September here. Or I guess you can even consider that we're kind of in the middle already, approaching it. And it's still summer weather out. And we've been noticing that too. Past couple of years, it's still warm outside. Summer weather's style there. So check out the Stops on the Fox to enhance your bike trip experience here. They will be covering the sections of the trails located in the Elgin area, including South Elgin, Elgin, East Dundee, and Carpentersville. So kind of sticking with that area there. And then we'll read more about some of the attractions that you can check out there too. And we'll definitely go through that. So we'll do that for a couple minutes here. We'll take a quick time out and then we'll continue on as well too. So starting off here, if you need a ride for the trail, you can get started with Main Street Bicycles. Start your journey in Carpentersville. You can rent a bike starting at just $10 an hour. And they have a wide selection of bikes that you can choose from. They have a plentiful parking within the walking distance of the Main Street Bicycles. It's easy to get rolling. Take on the trail and come back to return your rentals for an afternoon or full day trip. So that is, again, that is Main Street Bicycles. So that's located in Carpentersville. They're at 39 East Main Street in Carpentersville. I've passed the place many times before. In fact, I think I have, I've been in there before. I've been in there to have, I think I got new tires on my bike maybe when I was like in middle school. I've been in there. And you can also see here too, that you get a lot of bicycle options as well. So some good things that they offer there at the Main Street Bicycles. It's at the old grist mill. That's cool too. So it's definitely within a historical building as well. So pretty cool. That's one of the stops that you can go to. Small Business Bicycle Shop in Carpentersville. You can visit their website at mainstbicycles.com for more information. So you can check them out there too. Started back in 2004. So again, they also carry bikes, brands like Giant, Pivot, Liv, Surly, Fatback, and others as well too. So that's on their website. Very good to take a look at that. So that's one of the stops that you can make. You could also take a look at some of the attractions as well. Escapade 360, a perfect complement to an afternoon on the Fox River Bike Trail, located just a few feet away from the trail in downtown Elgin. It's a family-friendly theme, and it's safe for guests for 12 and up. So I have talked about here the Escapade 360 as well. It's a pretty good place to go to, Escapade 360. It's like a fun escape room that you can check out here too. It's not Image 360, it's Escapade 360, located in Elgin. Elgin's premier escape room. I've never been to an escape room before. I still have yet to go try it out. It's definitely a great experience. You can put your mind and soul to the test with Escapade 360. So there you go. Taking a look at the time here, it is 10:45. We'll take a quick time out. When I come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Grand Victoria Casino, and we'll lump it in with some fine dining featured there too that I have been to. Very good food indeed, and a great experience. So stay tuned for that as we take you out to lunch with WRMN. We'll be back with more in just a bit.
The word is out. Nissans cost less on Route 19, but that's not all. Parts, service, and body shop, they all cost less at McGrath Nissan. Used cars too. The reason why is how hard we try. Right now, get 0% APR financing on select new Nissan models at McGrath Nissan because
Nissans cost less on Route 19.
Come to Elgin.
See what we mean.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous Handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Batteries Plus Bulbs is more than batteries and bulbs. It's your repair shop for Apple devices, Samsung Galaxy devices, and more. Located on Randall Road, just south of 20 in Elgin, Batteries Plus Bulbs fills all your battery and light bulb needs in one stop. They have the largest selection of batteries for ATVs, cameras, phones, laptops, scooters, cars and homes, and everything else. Looking to save money with energy-efficient LED or holiday lighting? Stop in at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Elgin. Go to batteriesplus.com for special offers.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of Radio Shopping Show.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch. with WRMN, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. We've got about 10 minutes or so left here of the first hour. I'll talk about a particular place to go to. Pretty good for some fine dining experience. Then when we hop into the 11 o'clock hour, I have a special guest. We'll talk to her a little bit here too on a pretty awesome event that happened not too long ago. So stay tuned for that live interview coming up in person at the 11 o'clock hour. So what I wanted to talk about here, of course, is the Grand Victoria Casino. Now, if you've been, of course, you're familiar with the Grand Victoria Casino. Great place here located in Elgin. Perched atop the spectacular Fox River, Grand Victoria Casino boasts over 1,100 exciting slots. Yes, I was here for my 21st birthday, and I played some slots. I lost $20, and then I won $20. So it was even. And then I said, okay, I'm done for now. I think this is good. I spent $20 on the slots, and then I ended up winning. I was like, okay, I think that's good. I think that's enough. So it's like I played for free, really. It's like, you spend $20 and then you win it, so you got that money back. I'm like, okay, I don't want to risk any more now. I think we're good. But it was a fun experience nonetheless. And it can be exciting for sure and addictive at times. Countless variety of Vegas-style table games, acclaimed gaming promotions, and giveaways here. Definitely want to check them out. And, of course, they also offer their exciting dining as well. And that's what I wanted to hop into here today. Talk a little bit about some of the fine dining experience here as well. Now, of course, everyone enjoys a nice meal. Once in a while, have a good meal for yourself, treat yourself. When you buy yourself maybe a little bit more of an expensive meal, sometimes I like to think of it as that way, as like you're not just buying the food, you're buying the experience, because that's what it is. It's being able to sit down in comfortable chairs, having the waiter or waitress come by and pour the water for you, create that relationship between the customer and the server as well too. So it's all about the experience. It's about the ambiance of the place. Is there a nice grand piano playing in the background? Do we have the lights dimmed a little bit here too? What is the style of the place? Is it kind of rustic? Is it a little bit more fancy? Is it more modern? However the case might be. And when it comes to Buckingham Steakhouse, you can get some award-winning crowd pleasers here. So we'll talk a little bit about them here too, because you can experience sophisticated steakhouse dining of days gone by at Buckingham Steakhouse and Bistro. Classic favorites like the filet mignon, ribeye, and shrimp cocktail will delight your taste buds in the elegant atmosphere. And that's what it is too. You get a very beautiful, elegant atmosphere. Even just looking at the outside, the entrance area here too. You can tell here as well. With Grand Victoria Casino, of course, it's a beautiful building. You get kind of the Art Deco style with a little bit more of a modern flair. You get a little bit kind of the color schemes popular within the late 90s, early 2000s of a bygone era. Some of the interior design, or actually really most of it, is very much the same as how I remember going there when I was a little kid. Now, of course, I did not go there to gamble as a little kid, but we would go to Buckingham's or maybe get some nice food. Sometimes my grandma would go and gamble there too. And there was one time we went to Buckingham's and we had a good nice steak dinner, and it was very good too. My dad played the slots. He ended up winning some money. He said, well, I'm paying for everyone's meal tonight, he said. And that's when my great aunt Mary came over from Colorado and came to visit, and we went to Buckingham's. I still remember that day very well because I didn't get to see her that often because she lived in Colorado, so I didn't get to see her much. So whenever we saw her, I remember the days when we saw her because I always loved seeing her too. She was wonderful, and she passed away last year, so she lived a very good life. But I do remember here Buckingham's going here, of course, when I think it was in 5th grade. It was a very good experience. You get some high quality food here too, designed and cooked just the way you like it. That's always nice when you get to go to a place and the silverware is nice, the tables are nice, you get the glassware nice, and of course the food is also decorated as well in a very classy, artistic style. You know you're getting high quality here. So this is definitely, if you want to spend a little bit more money on a nice night out, you can check this place out. Again, you can get some good drinks. They have, of course, the nice seating there as well. Again, everything designed very nicely there too. The desserts, of course, look phenomenal. I think I had chocolate cake for dessert when I went to Buckingham's last time. So very, very good. Wait, did I have chocolate? I went for my 21st. I can't remember what I had to drink. Not that I was buzzed, but I don't remember what it was. I can't remember I don't think I cared for it that much. But nonetheless, still, if you want to check them out, you can visit their website. They do have their own website here too, so feel free to take a look at it for yourself as well. It's the Old World Charm on display. You get the curved leather booths. I meant to say booths. You get a nice fireplace there too. Very charming and evocative lighting, giving Buckingham Steakhouse a dose of old world charm and luxury that's perfectly accompanies cooked to perfection steaks. This is what I like about old world charm style of places with like the leather booths and chairs here too, within kind of the oak style of color. Brings back to like childhood memories because these were kind of color schemes that were popular during that day. That's kind of what I prefer. That's what I prefer because it brings back childhood memories. There are a lot of fine dining restaurants that you can go to today that have very much a modern style, but when it comes to a little bit more of the old world charm, that's a little bit more personally what I prefer, just because it does bring back the memories of childhood when this style was very popular during the time with that color scheme too. I mean, our kitchen was this, we had wallpaper that was, or we had a kind of like a red wine color of paint in our kitchen with the brown countertops and things like that too. Our kitchen's now a light blue, gray, and white, so it's kind of a little bit more modern, which I do like. It brightens up the room, but I do like kind of the older style there too, with a little bit more of the earthy tone, darker colors. It definitely brings kind of like a very poised, eased feel, if that makes sense. So it's not like light and bubbly. It's very much like, okay, we're here to have a nice dinner. We're here to get fancy. We're here to get fancy with the spices, as I say. So if you want to check it out, they offer a great lineup of delicious foods to enjoy. Not to mention here too that you can also get some good pizza here too. So at Grand Victoria Casino, they offer, of course, the steakhouse and also the bistro. But if you want something a little bit more casual too, you can get the slice pizzeria and pasta, fresh hot pizza, your choice of toppings there too. So that's the thing there as well. If you don't want to have to spend as much money, the bistro also there too. They have the bistro and then the steakhouse, and then they have their pizza area as well. So I'm also kind of talking a little bit more of the casual dining there too, something a little bit more affordable if you can't afford Buckingham's. But if you do want to treat yourself to a nice night out, this is definitely a place to go to, especially if you want to get, nicely dressed up, feel good about yourself, whether you go alone or with your spouse or partner or with a friend. Get some good high quality experience here. So it's the food you crave. You can check it out. Some good delicious options here. This does wrap it up here for the first hour of Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk of the Town. When we come back, we have a special guest live who will be live here in studio talking about a pretty cool event that happened not too long ago. A nice gift receiving for an awesome place. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk of the Town. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We will be back. America's Best Restaurants travels the country and features restaurants that you should visit each week. Recently, the cast and crew made their way to Renata's German Restaurant in Hanover Park. Renata serves old family recipes and delicious German-influenced food. Renata's also specializes in a wide variety of traditional German baked goods, too. So, if you've yet to visit Renata's, try America's Best Restaurants choice. Drop in soon for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Visit renatasgermanrestaurant.com. America's Best Restaurants travels the country and features restaurants that you should visit each week. Recently, the cast and crew made their way to Renata's German Restaurant in Hanover Park. Renata serves old family recipes and delicious German-influenced food. Renata's also specializes in a wide variety of traditional German baked goods, too. So, if you've yet to visit Renata's, try America's Best Restaurants choice. Drop in soon for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Visit renatasgermanrestaurant.com.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410. Elgin time, 11 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Credan. Brought to you by Bank of America Merrill Investments. This weekend, Elgin comes alive with the vibrant Fiesta de Elgin celebration honoring Mexican Independence Day and ushering in Hispanic Heritage Month. The festivities are set to transform downtown Elgin and Festival Park into a cultural spectacle. The Elgin City Council has streamlined the payment process for 3 key local taxes: motor fuel tax, hotel or motel rental tax, and the alcoholic liquor tax. The new system allows businesses to handle their obligations more conveniently via an online platform. In a thrilling display of talent and perseverance, Naperville North alumna Sarah Adam clinched a silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris. The monumental achievement followed her victory at the 2023 Parapan American Games. Competing in wheelchair rugby, Adam made history as the first woman on the U.S. Paralympic mixed team. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Credan.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
As the Elgin Police Department continues to participate in the Distracted Driving campaign, they wanted to share some tips from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website regarding safe driving. If you are expecting a text or need to send one, pull over and park your car in a safe location. Once you are safely off the road and parked, it's safe to text. Designate your passenger as your designated texter. Allow them to access your phone to respond to calls or messages. Do not engage in social media scrolling or messaging while driving. Are you struggling not to text and drive? Activate your phone's Do Not Disturb feature or put your cell phone in the trunk, the glove box, or the back seat of your vehicle until you arrive at your destination. Remember, the Elgin Police are conducting directed patrols to enforce distracted driving violations. Just drive and stay safe. A message from our friends at the Elgin Police Department and your friends here at WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. NFL, the Bears will be heading to Houston to take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans on Sunday night. Bears coming off a Week 1 victory against the Tennessee Titans. Houston coming off an opening week victory against Indianapolis. Chicago may be without wide receiver Rome Odunze, who has suffered an MCL sprain and is listed as week to week. The Illinois Fighting Illini will be home in Memorial Stadium on Saturday as they take on Central Michigan. The Fighting Illini 2-0 after their win against 19th-ranked Kansas last weekend. The Cubs defeated the LA Dodgers Tuesday night in Los Los Angeles 6-3, putting up 5 runs in the 8th inning. 3 of those runs coming on Dodger errors. Seiya Suzuki had an RBI single. Pete Crow Armstrong had 2 RBIs. While the White Sox, they were shut out by the Cleveland Guardians, losing 5-0. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I need a printer for the office.
Staples has the best brands, like HP.
Well, I have some demands.
Oh.
Burton Sales demands it be fast.
HP's Office Jet Pro is super fast.
Megan Marketing demands color prints.
Check.
And Kurt the Controller demands I don't overpay.
With Staples hot deals, you get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
demanding?
I was gonna say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on...
Wake up, Fox River Valley. WRMN AM 1410 is shaking things up with a brand new weekday lineup that'll keep you informed, entertained, and engaged. I'm Marky B, WRMN Program Director and host of The First Shift, inviting you to start your day with The First Shift from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Larry Jones, Jakes, myself, and the entire First Shift team bring you the latest local news, entertainment, and, my favorite, more to kick off your morning. Then it's out to lunch with Matt McNeil from 10 until 1 p.m. Tune in for your midday fix of news, interviews, community happenings, and of course, the legendary WRMN Tradio Show. In the afternoon, join us for Fox Valley Afternoons from 2 until 6 p.m. Tammy and friends will chat lifestyle from 2 to 4, while Sonar and his crew dive into politics and news from 4 until 6. Plus, get to know the movers and shakers of the Fox River Valley with exclusive interviews, too. Don't miss out on our new local lineup that's tailor-made for you. WRMN AM 1410, the talk of the town. Tune in and turn it up.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Out to Lunch with WRMN, AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk of the Town. If you want to be a part of the conversation, feel free to comment live on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. If you'd like to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell. You can always keep up to date and in the loop with what's happening here in the Fox River Valley and with WRMN. I'm your host, Matt, here again, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. Now, of course, here we do have a special guest in studio today, and we want to introduce you to the stage here. We have here Kathy Russell, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Very, very exciting. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in being part of the Boys and Girls Club.
For sure. So I started working at a Boys and Girls Club fresh out of college in Indiana, and I was there for about 1 or 2 months. I really had no idea what a Boys and Girls Club did, and just fell in love with the kids and have been with them ever since. It's been over 25 years. I've been in Elgin for the last 11 years as the CEO, and just love the mission and the ability to really help kids really see their full potential and realize what they can give back to the world.
That's awesome. And that's the thing, too, about the Boys and Girls Club is that you get a lot of great experience here, too. Like you said, we'd love to have some of the kids on here, too, to talk about their experiences, to inspire people. It's really, really cool. So, again, you've been the CEO, is that what's that, 1999?
Yeah, I've been with clubs since 1999, but I've been in Elgin since 2013.
Okay, very nice.
Hot minute.
Yeah, hot minute. Absolutely. So what we wanted to talk a little bit about here today too, and of course we'll also go into more detail on maybe some other upcoming events that you have, talk a little bit about how people can join. But the Boys and Girls Club of Elgin recently received a $1 million in federal grant funding for improvements to its more than 30-year facility in Elgin. You want to talk to us a little bit more about that?
For sure. So Boys and Girls Club started in 1993 in Elgin. The city leaders came together and they saw that there was a need for youth to have someplace safe to go when they were not in school. And so they partnered with Boys and Girls Clubs. They bought a small house and the kids were attending club there. It was when the Boys and Girls Club first opened in Elgin. And they quickly outgrew it. In 2008, they opened the brand new facility on 355 Dundee Avenue. It serves about 150 to 200 kids as a capacity. And so it's 16 years old. And, you know, times have changed a lot. And we are now serving predominantly teens in that facility. And there are a lot of updates and things that need to be done to you know, just accommodate their ever-changing needs. And so, yeah, we applied for a federal grant, and Representative Krishnamurthy was able to secure us $1 million to do updates to that facility.
That is so cool. I've got it up on the screen here, too, for people watching on YouTube. That's the building there, too. And then, of course, you can also check out their website as well, bgcncil.org. That's where you can go to. Very, very cool. So this is an awesome grant here, the fact that they were able to do that for you as well. Now, you want to talk a little bit here. So there's going to be like some building improvements and what's included there too.
So, you know, there are definitely some building improvements that need to happen. And really our goal here with this money is to first get teen voice, right? So be able to sit down with the teens and talk to them about like what specifically what changes would you like to see in your clubhouse, right? The most important thing is that they have buy-in, that we're listening to them. They have a lot of ideas and we're incorporating them in every step of the way, right? To what kind of, you know, if we're changing the colors on the wall, what kind of wall and what kind of technology and what does their space need to look like? So that's by far the most important thing. It is literally their club, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is being able to incorporate just really flexible space. So we all know the world is changing very quickly, and we just need to be able to set that facility up to meet the needs of the different programs that we run on a regular basis, but just to know that they're going to continue to evolve. So how do we elevate that space? We also see, you know, kindergartners in there during the summer, and so you have to be able to look at like, how do you serve kids ages, you know, 6 to 18 in that space? So just some really flexible space. And then the third thing is safety, right? So the most important thing that we do at clubs is keep kids safe. And so we're really going to be looking at updating some of the cameras and the safety aspects that we have for the building.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that what's also really cool is what you said here too, is that it's their clubhouse. So the fact that you want their voice to be heard, and that you give them the opportunity to say, what would you like? It's not like it's, you know, we have this grant and we're going to do it, you know, all our way. It's what do the kids want? What do they want to see improved here? And I think that that's awesome.
Yeah, they're way smarter than we are, right? Like, I mean, seriously, like they come up with the best ideas, and then and you honestly, like, you always think about like when you were a kid, you know, our neighborhood, we'd have like clubs, right? There were no adults, right? They were in the middle of the bushes or whatever, right?
Yep.
But you felt like you had ownership of those, right? Like you created the rules and, you know, all of that. Like we always want that space to feel like that for them, right? Like this is your club. We're just here to help you and facilitate what you want to happen.
Absolutely. And I think in a world growing with technology too, we're starting to notice, to me, I feel like maybe a little bit more of a disconnect with technology, with everything coming up as where we just have everything at our fingertips. There's that kind of social disconnect, even though we're on social media, there's like a disconnect there. So being able to go to a physical location and make friends and have a club and be able to communicate with others in person is very important. It's very vital, and in the real world too.
I agree with you so much, Matt. And there's so many children, like even before COVID, that were lonely, and now almost every single teenager that we talk to talks about this horrible feeling of loneliness. You know, we've had kids come to the club that said, you know, I don't have any friends, right? They're in middle school, like, gosh, middle school is such a tough age, right? And they, you know, they would sit alone at lunch. They didn't have any friends. They felt completely disconnected and lonely and sad. And they started coming to the club and they're like, I have 100 friends, you know, and it's not friends on technology, right? It's friends face to face where I'm laughing and talking and having authentic relationships with. And it literally changes their lives because we are relationship people, right? Like as a human being, you want to be able to connect. And that's one of the most important things at the club is that you have those positive peer relationships.
That's so cool. The fact, I mean, even like you said, I mean, like you can make so many friends in person. And there are a lot of kids out there that do struggle. And we're seeing that kind of grow more as social media grows and technology grows. We're seeing that more with also, of course, kids and teens. And I remember middle school, you know, it was an awkward stage for me too. It was like, I didn't really, you know, I tried to make friends. I tried to be popular. I tried to do this and that. I struggled a lot, but I think every kid struggles. I think that, you know, when you have a club like this, it's a way to maintain conversation and be able to talk to people, especially your own age too. You need people to talk to your own age, especially you know, with a club like this too. So that's just it's
so interesting at middle school, like that whole age where, you know, it always is about like fitting in, right? Like everyone needs to be the same. Like you look at the Stanley Cups, right? The Stanley Cups, like as soon as somebody got one, right, everyone has to have one. And everybody wants to be alike. And what I love about the club is it's not about how you're alike. It's about what you bring to the table that's different.
Yeah.
And celebrating that.
That's a beautiful statement. Yes, because we need more of that.
We do.
Absolutely. And so I'm sure you get a wide range of different people with different experiences.
We do.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's so awesome when they can celebrate how they look at things differently, the different experiences that they bring to the table, their different opinions, and they respect it, right? Like it's a point where your idea or what you think or how you look at the world is different, and I respect it, and I want to know more about it. Like, help me understand.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's kind of like what we do here on WRMN too. Is we want people to engage in the conversation, even people with different viewpoints as well, so that we can learn from each other, and that's important. And I think that's great when you have a club like this. It's catered to all kids from all different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've heard many amazing stories too of how it has changed people's lives. Because kids, I mean, they take it with them.
Yeah.
They, you know, every experience. So that
almost everybody can point back to somebody that touched their life or fed into them in a way that made them who they are today, right? And so, yeah, you think about every interaction that you have, like coming and really listening and coming with love. And, you know, you are just instilling these little nuggets, these little seeds, right, that are going to grow. And you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great experience. So I definitely would recommend checking out this club. So it's really cool. And actually, here it says, this is an email I got. It was maybe about it was back in August about the grant. They said that the average daily attendance of Boys and Girls Club throughout the entire North Central Illinois chapter is about 2,300 kids.
Yeah, every day. So, well, we see anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,000 kids every single day that come through the doors. We have 34 sites. We have 18 sites in Elgin. The Elgin Clubhouse, where we got the grant, is our flagship club, right? It was our first club. But we do have 34 sites. A lot of them are in schools, but we're in Schaumburg, Streamwood, Hanover Park, Elgin, South Elgin, Aurora, and this summer we've served kids in DeKalb, and we're opening up a new site in Batavia.
That's awesome. So with the expansion here too, you're of course expanding for people, for more opportunities for people.
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
important.
Yeah. So when I came here, we had 34 staff members, and now we have anywhere from 250 to 300.
Wow.
Right. So like yeah, and they're all people that love the mission and want to work with kids, and it's grown significantly, but it's been so good. But there are 50,000 kids in our region that live in poverty, and our goal really is to end youth poverty. And we do that through the experiences that we give them at the club, and it's all about making sure that when they graduate, they know what they want to do with their lives. They at least have an idea, right? Because they've been exposed to so many different careers. Like we were just talking about, right? Like how do we get them to know, to understand what it takes to make a radio station happen? Like what are all the jobs that it takes, and just learning about all of that. And it will spark something in one of them, right?
Yeah.
And give them that opportunity or that knowledge to do something with, exciting that they wouldn't have known about.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about the Boys and Girls Club too, it's not just like a club where you just, hang out and have free time. You learn a lot. Of course, you learn about how to interact with people. It's not just you learn at school or at church or at home or wherever, but you also can learn at these clubs too. And these clubs can also be a place of learning where a lot of these kids don't get, and they're outside of the club as well too. So having that the club here is it gives hope to people,
right?
Who maybe don't get that at home, or who maybe don't even get it at school at sometimes too. So
yeah, and I mean every child, it doesn't matter what your background is, they struggle, right? And it's tough. It's tough being a kid. It's always been tough being a kid. It will always continue to be tough being a kid, right? But there's so many opportunities that out of school time can offer children, and that's really what it's all about, is being able to, first we say access, like we need to make sure every child has access, then we need to work on their health and well-being, right? And then their academics, like making sure that they're successful in school. When a kid shows up to school with their homework done, they're more likely to participate and feel good about themselves, right? And then it's all about the workforce development and the experience that you can give them, so that they can start to understand how their gifts, how their individual gifts and talents can be used in the world, right? And then it's all about character and leadership. So it's about let's really dive into your community. What are community problems that you as teenagers can help solve? And how are you going to use your gifts and skills and talents to help solve those community problems?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very important skill to learn. And also here too, I'm sure that you've had students who maybe are a little shy at first, and then they open up. So those are always fun stories there too. What would you say to maybe parents or kids who maybe might feel like, oh, I don't know if this is for me? What would you say to them?
And I'm 51, and I still get nervous the first time I meet somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time that I meet somebody, or when I have a new experience, I think that never goes away. But it's about embracing it and realizing that it's always about like just stepping a little bit out of my comfort zone, right? And then your comfort zone continues to grow and grow and grow, right? But it's about that little step of like, I'm going to take a little step because I feel that uneasiness, and that means this is probably really good for me, right? It never goes away. It's just about embracing it. It's about realizing it and then saying, this is an opportunity for me to expand my comfort zone. Yeah. And so I would say, like, yeah, it is nerve-wracking the first time you go into a club and there's a lot of kids, but it is probably the most warm and inviting environment that you'll ever come into, right? Like, I always say the first time when somebody walks in, I'm like, welcome to the Boys and Girls Club, a place where your dreams can come true, right? Like, and it's all about that interaction and that welcome, vibe that they can get when they come.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to be welcoming. And I see it with you too. You're a very a bubbly, welcoming person. And that's awesome. And by the way, too, you don't look 51 at all. That's why I said, I was like, no, really? I was like, what? No, you look really. You don't look
Thank
it at
you.
all.
Thank you. I embrace my age. I do believe, like a lot of people say, it's just a number, but like I'm really, I'm proud to be 51. And I think that with each year comes so much learning, and I love that. I love it.
Yeah,
I really do.
And we're seeing that too now too with age. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but
that's
like,
okay.
Where people are kind of like, like they're embracing their age. They're not feeling like, oh geez, I'm pushing 30. I'm not married, or things like that. It's like, everyone has their own style, and it's good to embrace being you.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great.
And I love that you embrace that, and of course also you encourage others, kids out there too, to embrace themselves as well, their true selves. So very awesome. So what are also some of the, like, when it comes to the Boys and Girls Club, because we've got about like 5 minutes left here. But like, what are some of the things, activities that you feature, that you have for these students and for these kids?
So we operate anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours outside of school time, right? So we have some morning programs and some afternoon programs, and they're all scheduled. But we have 4 priority areas, and it's health and wellness, academics, character and leadership, and workforce development. So when you walk into a club, you are going to see a program or activity that is happening within those 4 different areas. So for example, the number one thing is they get a hot, nutritious meal, right? Check. Like every club, you're going to see that. The second thing is we expect you to get your homework done, right? So like, we know you want to go and do this fun activity in the gym, and you can do that as soon as your homework's done, right? And that really helps us understand where kids may be struggling. But there's a lot of peer support that happens, but then also a lot of like tutoring and volunteers and adults that can come in and work with kids to help them. You know, sometimes it's just like sitting there and keeping them focused, but get your homework done, right? So eating, get your homework done. And then we have, you know, all kinds of things from like art, you know, being able to do art projects, and to, you know, I've seen them make birdhouses, and, you know, do all kinds of different crafts and stuff like that, to plays, like putting on plays for people, to things that are happening in the gym. So we have a program called Triple Play, and it's all about kind of pushing themselves in physical fitness, right? And learning different things that they can do to work out that are fun, right? Incorporating fun into like sweating.
Yeah.
And then there's, you know, one of the things we do have is what we call Career Chat Wednesdays, where we like to bring in people from the community to talk to the kids about what they do for a living. And so it's really a great way for people in the community to engage at the club. And we know that kids that are exposed to 50 different types of careers by the end of 8th grade are more likely to be successful. And so we really work to, you know, expose kids to all different kinds of careers. It's so fun, and they ask the best questions.
I'm sure they do. And you know what? The thing is, too, is a lot of kids, you know, are like, oh, I don't want to read. I don't want to, you know, learn and stuff. But they do, though. I know they do, you know, especially if it's something that they're tied to. I remember, like, growing up in school, like when we had to do book reports, I was kind of like, but whenever it was a book that, like, I really like I was able, like, I was able to choose my own book, or even if it was a book that the teacher chose that, like, for me was something that I was like really drawn to, then it's like, oh, I want to spend all day reading this. So
can you remember one of them that you loved?
Oh, Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh yeah,
it's the Lemony Snicket series. Yeah, all the 12 books.
You loved those.
I loved those.
See, and that's so
Yes.
important. You know, and one of the things I love, like when you look at book reports, like everybody thinks, oh my gosh, that's so awful. But I'm like, what if you give the kids the opportunity to pick what they want, right? Find something they love to read. I don't care what it is, as long as it has words. And then do a book report using Snapchat filter, right? Yeah. Like, so it's fun and exciting, right? And it's kind of talking their love language, because they all love Snapchat. Yeah. But how do you make that kind of stuff fun?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I also have to ask you here too. So it really does sound like you keep up to date with kind of social trends as well when it comes to students. So when something new maybe comes up on Snapchat, you kind of like, I mean, even like your the lingo you use, hot minute and things like that. It's like you keep up to date with. And I'm sure you've also learned a lot of things from the students as well, too.
Oh, my goodness, for sure. But, you know, it's ever changing. Like the other day I heard that's cooking. And I'm like, what does that mean? Right. And they're like, it means I don't even remember. I can't even keep up with it because it changes so fast. Right. But I do have children at home as well, and they're teens. And so they try to keep me a little bit hip, too. But it's not easy. And it literally is like another language. Yeah.
It's inspiring though too, you know, when you kind of like look at, like, you know, why do they do that? You know, it's important. Of course, there's a lot of things that are trendy that kids do too. But it's also good to remind people, too, to be themselves as well.
Absolutely.
So that's
absolutely
also good, too. So
for
so
sure.
Very nice. So we've got about a minute left. Is there anything? Well, actually, I'll ask you. How can people join the Boys and Girls Club? How can they find you? Get started.
Like how would they want to get involved? So I mean, there's all different kinds of ways to get involved. Obviously, our website is probably the best place. It kind of is the hub for all things Boys and Girls Club, whether it's becoming a member, whether it's volunteering, whether it's just learning more information. Obviously, we depend on donations. We do have our annual gala coming up. It is November 16th. It is extravagant and fun, and it's a great way to see our kids kind of in action.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're interested in getting involved in that, anywhere from like donating an auction item to sponsoring a table, we would love to have your participation. And, and then things like, the career chats and coming in. We have a garden in Elgin at the clubhouse. If you love gardening, coming in and like, oh my gosh, it's such a great way to teach kids is through like the garden and the learning they can do outside. So
yeah. So there's a lot of cool things to do.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Kathy, thanks so much for joining us. We definitely want to have you on again, or whoever else would like to join from the Boys and Girls Club. I'll give you, of course, I'll get you my card, and we'll definitely keep you in the loop here.
I love it. Thank
too.
you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Absolutely. That's the Boys and Girls Club, folks. Very, very cool, folks. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN here in just a bit. Stay tuned.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Linzess. This weekend, Elgin comes alive with the vibrant Fiesta de Elgin celebration honoring Mexican Independence Day and ushering in Hispanic Heritage Month. The festivities are set to transform downtown Elgin and Festival Park into a cultural spectacle. The Elgin City Council has streamlined the payment process for 3 key local taxes: motor fuel tax, hotel or motel rental tax, and the alcoholic liquor tax. The new system allows businesses to handle their obligations more conveniently via an online platform. In a thrilling display of talent and perseverance, Naperville North alumna Sarah Adam clinched a silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris. The monumental achievement followed her victory at the 2023 Parapan American Games. Competing in wheelchair rugby, Adam made history as the first woman on the U.S. Paralympic mixed team. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. The Cubs rally for 5 runs in the 8th inning on Tuesday night as they beat the Dodgers out in Los Angeles 6-3. 3 of those runs coming on Dodger errors. Seiya Suzuki had an RBI single, and Pete Crow Armstrong drove in 2. The White Sox were shut out by Cleveland, losing to the Guardians 5-0. Chicago committed 2 errors. They were held to 5 hits. Lane Thomas had a 3-run shot for Cleveland. The Chicago Bears will play on Sunday Night Football in Houston against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Both teams coming off Week 1 victories. The Bears didn't score an offensive touchdown, nevertheless still beat the Tennessee Titans, but they may be without wide receiver Rome Odunze, who suffered an MCL sprain and is listed as week to week. While in college football, Illinois back in action Saturday at Memorial Stadium as they take on Central Michigan. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I need a printer for the office.
Staples has the best brands, like HP.
Well, I have some demands.
Oh.
Burton Sales demands it be fast.
HP's Office Jet Pro is super fast.
Megan Marketing demands color prints.
Check.
And Kurt the Controller demands I don't overpay.
With Staples hot deals, you get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
Demanding?
I was gonna say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on select HP printers, America's most trusted printer brand. Ends 9/28.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel. Not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Out to Lunch with WRMN. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. We're getting closer into the afternoon. Yes, we are. That was a wonderful interview with Kathy Russell, CEO of Boys and Girls Club. Very, very nice. Looking forward to maybe having her on again, maybe some of the other staff members, and maybe even some of the kids as well who are part of the Boys and Girls Club. Very nice. Good to hear those stories. And she told me too after we were on the air here, she said that she definitely learns more from them than they learn from the Boys and Girls Club, because you can hear a lot of great stories. And that's the beautiful thing about a club like the Boys and Girls Club is that people from all different backgrounds come together. They learn, they have fun. And it's very well organized too. So I do recommend, again, checking it out for yourself. Boys and Girls Club, you can visit their website. I'll pull it up on the screen here as well for those of you who are interested in checking it out. It is bgcncil.org. So you can just look up Boys and Girls Club. It's of North Central Illinois. That's why it's a BG for Boys and Girls Club, North Central Illinois. So BGCNC for Central Illinois, IL.org. And that's the website to go to. They give children opportunities. It's a great way to build a future for them, measuring success and how they motivate and encourage their club members to positively develop and graduate from high school on time with a plan for their future. They believe the best way to provide encouragement is through relationships with caring adult staff who work to provide the hope and opportunities of our young people needing to succeed. And that's very important too. You know the saying, it takes a kid to raise a village. And that kind of applies here too. You know, these are ways that people can grow too. You know, it's great to give them recognition. So if you want to check it out, they also serve, of course, Aurora, Elgin, Hanover Park, Schaumburg, South Elgin, and Streamwood. And to give you a little sneak peek here too, that she did, she didn't go into a whole lot of detail on, but I'll give you a sneak peek. They are going to be having a name change, so they just got the green light for that name change. So we'll definitely keep you in the loop with that. Very cool. They've got their Great Futures Gala, which is going to be coming up pretty soon here as well. That's November 16th, so it's about 2 months away from now. She did touch base on that a little bit here. It's the 8th annual Great Futures Gala, where they unite to make great futures possible for the children that they serve. Thank you to the unwavering support. They're able to provide essential services for over 1,800 children each day, empowering them to reach their full potential. Of course, they do offer, of course, sponsors. So if you would like to donate, they do rely on donations. You can visit their donation center online there too. Currently, right now, they have raised $66,000 raised towards the goal of $700,000 for this gala. So very, very cool. We wish them nothing but the best of luck, of course, here with the Boys and Girls Club. Definitely something that you want to check out. Absolutely. So very, very nice. We were talking a little bit here as we talked a little bit about earlier here, the Grand Victoria Casino. We also talked a little bit about some of the stops on the Fox. So some of the stops on the Fox. And you know what? I think I'll do this a little bit differently here today, too. What we'll do is we'll continue on with talking about stops on the Fox here, too. And then eventually we'll kind of go through a little bit quicker today the National Day calendar. We'll just tell you a little bit quicker. I usually do that during roughly half of the 11 o'clock hour or so, or even more. But what I'll do is I'll continue on from where we left off here before the interview, the great interview that we had about some of the attractions that you can check out here too. So Grand Victoria Casino, of course, being one of them. Another one that is really great to tour is the Elgin Public Arts. The city of Elgin is changing and growing. Over the last 6 years, they have defined itself as the, quote, city of the arts. As we are here also with Out to Lunch with WRMN, I do like to, of course, cover the arts and entertainment, as I am very much a big arts person. Loved taking art classes when I was a very little kid, always loved drawing, loved, of course, doing videography, photography, also working with sound as well. When I was in high school, I actually did some remixes of songs. I have like an old YouTube channel that I still use to watch YouTube on, but I don't post anything on there. But I do have some of my old remixes that I've done, like when I was like back in high school, that I have posted on there too. So that was always something that, I used GarageBand. So definitely very much so. I was in theater growing up too. First theater performance I did was in first grade. Yeah, I've always loved theater. I think it's a wonderful expression of the human experience, but also too the imagination as well too when it comes to the theater. The theater has, of course, options and arts. This is not just for theater, but also art too, artwork. Art offers, of course, a representation of the human experience in life, but also it can represent the mind and how different inspirations come from. Mixtures of things from the real world and also from your mind, and what comes up just kind of naturally from your mind too, with weird creations and fun things. Weird in a good way when it comes to the arts. Arts is a form of expression. And of course, well, now I'm getting to the tidbit of art things, but the Elgin Cultural Arts Commission, they really saw a need to develop a plan and system to facilitate public arts. Now all over the downtown Elgin area, there are many pieces of artwork too. You can find sculptures, you can find murals, you can find paintings, lots of different things. Things that, of course, again, represent the human experience. As well too. So there's a lot of different art pieces that are located all within downtown Elgin, and it also applies here too to the Fox River Valley as well. You can find lots of other neighboring cities and different towns within the Fox River Valley that all have their own story, and incorporated into those stories is some wonderful artwork that you can find as well. Artwork that also includes too, even if they're older buildings from the 1800s, even if it's a little very small town, you can still see art that's incorporated in that in the daily lives too. As humans, we want to create. So definitely tour the Elgin Public Arts. For sure. It's definitely very cool. You can check out the Public Arts Tour, see the Elgin Public Art pieces where they're located. You can check out Side Street Studios, offers some great artwork there too, as well. Right near outside City Hall, they have some great murals as well. When you walk around the park area, there's just a lot of cool things. When you go to Walton Island, it's very artistic as well. It's a beautiful landscape that you get, of course, around the Fox River, as well as the Elgin Dam, created in the WPA program back in the 1930s. It's really, really cool. There's a nice little gazebo out there too. I've been to the gazebo before when I was in high school. For my senior year, what we did, we actually had like a summer party. So it was a before school party. And what it was it was a way to be able to communicate with the students and be able to create kind of some relationships there too. So what we did during the summertime, it was like a week before school started. They had a summer party for my class, the upcoming class, senior class. And we went out to Walton's Island and we played some fun activities too. So that's a memory that I have as well. For sure. So the gazebo, it's a cool, excellent spot. Hold a wedding ceremony, take wedding photos. So these are some great things. Nice Walton's Island there too, within the area. Again, back to some of the murals that you can find also in the area there too. You can find their self-guided tour map on Elgin's Public Art. I mean, they have a whole list of things that you can check out for sure. Lots of great artworks on display at Larkin High School, and also Elgin Community College is another place where you can explore and create some wonderful artwork. Very diverse artwork as well, too, from different experiences and mindsets. So there's just a lot of things definitely within the area here too. And I'm talking about Elgin here, but I'm also it also applies to the Fox River Valley as well, where the Fox River Valley is a very artistic area, just in general, the Fox River Valley. It's an artistic valley along the Fox River and surrounding it too, of course. So we're very fortunate to be stationed here in Elgin as the radio station and being able to, of course, cover the Fox River Valley in all its glory and beauty that is featured here. As we say, part of the community for the community, all working together as well, supporting each other. So you can learn more about visiting cityofelgin.org/public art. And it's content provided by the Elgin Cultural Arts Commission. So thank you so much to them for that. Of course, you can also check out the libraries. Yes, the libraries are a fantastic way to learn some wonderful information, create relationships with people, check out the fun activities that are featured at these different local libraries too. There's so much fun stuff going on. Gale Borden Public Library, the Fox River Valley Public Library District, Algonquin Public Library, Bartlett Library, Geneva, all these libraries within the Fox River Valley. You can always find something unique, multiple things that are unique at each individual one too. So very cool. If you want to do some outdoor touring, there's Pratt's Castle. It's a man's home. That might be its castle, but when was the last time you actually saw a castle in a residential neighborhood? Well, there you go. You can check out that really cool castle as well. It definitely is really cool. Medieval history buff Harold S. Pratt built this imposing replica in 1937. So also pretty cool too. So much more that you can take a look at. Parks to take a break at there too. There's Vasa Park, South Elgin, Panton Mill Park in South Elgin, of course, which we were recently at here for the America's First Responders Fest. Seba Park in South Elgin, Festival Park, which is also really cool. I have some very fond memories there too, as well as, of course, remembering what it used to look like and how they've expanded as well. They've definitely created a very visual, artistic design that is within Festival Park that's even more grand and artistic and unique even than it was before. It was already unique as it was before, and they've definitely expanded on it too. It's both a neighborhood park and entertainment venue. And of course, can't forget about all the wonderful restaurants in the area as well. So that's exploreelginarea.com. That's Stops on the Fox. Stops on the Fox. Very nice. We'll take a quick time out here. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN. We'll touch base with what's happening in terms of the national days. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more.
Anderson Japanese Gardens, ranked the highest quality Japanese garden in North America and located right in the heart of Rockford. Their mission is to open minds to a different culture while offering a place of peace and tranquility where one can find healing, renewal, inspiration, and a re-energized soul. A premier destination for corporate functions, special events, weddings, and receptions. For directions, hours, and fees, visit andersongarden.org today.
Theriault Booth, a leading local law firm, is located on the beautiful Fox River in downtown St. Charles. Here's Ryan Theriault.
For better or worse, there are just times people need a lawyer. Whether you are involved in a work injury, in an automobile crash, selling a home, or even planning for your estate after your passing, we're here. We're local. We're part of the community.
For more information, visit them on the web at tbfirm.com or give them a call at 630-526-4242. It's the time of the year where storms and inclement weather can pop up unexpectedly. If you have a generator powered by a small engine, keep it running like a top. Don't do the tune-up yourself. Let Ames Small Engine Repair at 674 Laurel Street in Elgin handle your generator. Ames can do oil changes, spark plugs, and make all the necessary adjustments. From simple tune-ups to major repairs, Ames Small Engine can do it all. Don't forget, it's not too early to think about a lawnmower tune-up. Call 847-742-8750.
Oh no, I just hit that post and my car's got a dent.
Uh-oh, better get Mako.
Oh yeah? Where are they?
Mako is America's body shop. They're the world's largest provider of paint and collision services. They're located at 212 Western Avenue in Carpentersville, across from Spring Hill Mall. I've used them. Check out my car.
Wow, looking good.
Everything was so easy and affordable. Hummer and staff were super friendly and really knew their stuff.
I'm going to call them now.
Mention WRMN 1410 at the Carpentersville Mako and receive 10% off today.
Attention all burger enthusiasts and game aficionados. Celebrate a century of excellence at Mott's Lounge. Proudly serving the community for 100 years under 5 generations of passionate ownership. Sink your teeth into our hand-pressed fresh burgers bursting with flavor, crafted just the way you like them. And while you're here, enjoy our exclusive drink specials, perfect for toasting to our milestone anniversary. Plus, challenge your luck with our state-of-the-art gaming machines, adding an extra thrill to your visit. Join us at Mott's Lounge and be a part of history in the making. Here's to another century of great food, fun, and memories. Mott's Lounge, where every visit is a celebration. For more information, visit us online at mottslounge.com.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Out to Lunch with WRMN, AM 1410, Voice of the Valley. Talk of the Town. Feel free, of course, to be a part of the conversation. Comment live on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. You can also message us through the Image 360 line. That's the info line, 505-926-1410. 505-926-1410. Very nice. So let's continue on here. What we'll do is we'll talk about the National Day calendar. What is today and what is a day that we can celebrate? Well, there's multiple ones here, folks. So let's join in the ride with this and see what we've got. Today is National Day of Encouragement. Yes, you can. Absolutely. It is National Day of Encouragement recognized today. It's a day dedicated to uplifting people around us and making a positive impact. And this is a beautiful thing, too. What it actually, you can tie this in was, of course, what we had with Kathy on the interview today with the Boys and Girls Club. They're always very encouraging, dedicated to uplifting people and making a positive impact. How, of course, the staff makes a positive impact on the kids who join the clubs, and the kids also, in return, make a positive impact on the staff, too. There's so much that the staff learns as well. And she also said that, CEO Kathy, that we had said that too, that she learns a lot from these kids, from their own experiences too. So it's National Day of Encouragement. It's dedicated again to uplifting people, and encouragement is free. It's free. It never costs us anything to just really say a few words to inspire a student, coworker, or even a friend. Even a reassuring word to a stranger may make a difference in their lives too. Encouragement, it can lift someone up when they're down. It definitely, I would say, can very much motivate people. Even just a little bit of encouragement can motivate people. You never know how much you can motivate someone by just encouraging them too. Sometimes you feel like maybe you have certain failures, and then it's good to, having the right words to remind yourself to keep trying too. So not just encouragement to others, but also encouragement to yourself is very important too, so that you don't feel like you're cheating yourself. So give yourself encouragement. Absolutely give yourself encouragement. That's also very important. Sometimes the act of noticing a job well done improves someone's day. Developing a habit of recognizing emerging talents. It can motivate people to speak up and offer a kind word or helpful tip. It's definitely a practice that won't go out of style, and helpfully definitely improves relationships at work, home, and of course also the world around us as well. Today's also, this is a nice way, day of encouragement today. It's also National Hug and High Five Day. National Hug and High Five Day today, recognized today. Feeling appreciated and loved. I think that this is also really cool too, because there's another day today too, National Just One Human Family Day, encourages us to reflect on the human race as a single family. And, tying these things together here too, it's the day after 9/11, and we, of course, for many of us, remember how the America came together. They came together. And so I think that these days following up from it definitely that can be a reflection of it too, with Encouragement Day, coming together to encourage. National Hug and High Five Day, giving that fun high five and a loving hug of encouragement and coming together. And then, of course, National Just One Human Family Day today, coming together. So I think that these days definitely were made the day for a reason afterwards. After 9/11, because I think it's interesting how that all plays out. Yesterday, with it being the memorial and the day after, it's a lot of these national days on nationaldaycalendar.com about coming together, encouraging others, and being a part of the community too. So that's really, really cool. In 2001. Yeah, so here we go. In 2001, the world's population, the Earth's family, stood at over 6.2 billion. By 2020, it had grown to 7.8 billion. And that's a lot of family sharing on one planet. Yes, yes, yes. And there's so much, that's just life. There's so much we could talk about with that even too. Well, how's a way to celebrate? Of course, you can organize classrooms, invite school and church choirs, schedule an online sing-along, get a fundraiser for your organization, create one, arrange a corporate harmony day for your business, things like this, so that's also recognized today as well. You can even watch a video here too. They actually posted it on here, Just One Planet, which is a little bit of an older video there that you can watch as well too. So that's really, really cool. There's just, there's different ways that you can do it. And encouraging people, of course. Absolutely. So that's recognized today. Those are one of the three of the days that are recognized today. Something that's also today, National School Picture Day is today. Yes, it reminds us to put on our best smiles. Now, of course, you've probably seen lots of pictures online of like those awkward school pictures. A lot of them, interestingly enough, tend to be, I would say maybe from like the 80s and 90s with like the big glasses and the hairdos. I don't really have any awkward school pictures. I always usually smiled in my pictures. It never was like awkward in them. So I don't have any like awkward school pictures. But Picture Day creates memories that last a lifetime here too. Not only that, the day makes moms and dads radiate with pride and joy too. Also looking at yearbooks, looking at those old yearbooks too is also a lot of fun too. So I actually haven't done it in a while. Should go back and look at some of my yearbooks. See if there's pictures. I know there's pictures of me in the yearbook, of course. Well, especially senior year, because I was a co-editor, so I was like, I'm going to put this picture of me in here. No, not really. But that was a lot of fun too, doing that as the co-editor of the yearbook. That was really a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. So, how to observe School Picture Day today? Dig out your favorite school pictures. You got a funny one? Share it online. Share it with your family and friends. Tell us your favorite memories. Feel free to do so. Feel free to tell us some of your favorite memories. What were some of these styles of the day? The big hair, big collar, bold colors, things like that too. There's lots of cool things. I usually dressed very formal. I have to say, my senior picture, though, what I did was I was getting into kind of more of I was more outwardly into like creepy stuff. So I wore like a black sports jacket, and then I had a what was it? I had a red shirt, like a bright like red shirt, and then I had a kind of a gothic looking tie, and then I had a Jack Skellington pin on my tie that I had for my picture day. So I was kind of like getting into kind of doing that too. And then I also did bleach my hair a little bit. So it was almost like a kind of like a banana blonde color. So it was I kind of looked whimsical a little bit on my senior picture. I don't know. It was nice, but you know, I had my own sense of style for sure. It was kind of when I was getting into finding myself in sense of style for sure. So again, those are some days recognized today. There's also some other ones too, which we'll touch base here in just a bit. We're already at the top of the hour here. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a bit. Don't forget also, Tradio coming up around the corner here at around 12:30 or so. If you're looking to buy, sell, trade, and or announce, 847-931-1410, 505-926-1410 for texting, or you can also email me too. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a bit.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of Radio Shopping Show.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 12 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Linzess. This weekend, Elgin comes alive with the vibrant Fiesta de Elgin celebration honoring Mexican Independence Day and ushering in Hispanic Heritage Month. The festivities are set to transform downtown Elgin and Festival Park into a cultural spectacle. The Elgin City Council has streamlined the payment process for 3 key local taxes: motor fuel tax, hotel or motel rental tax, and the alcoholic liquor tax. The new system allows businesses to handle their obligations more conveniently via an online platform. In a thrilling display of talent and perseverance, Naperville North alumna Sarah Adam clinched a silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris. The monumental achievement followed her victory at the 2023 Parapan American Games. Competing in wheelchair rugby, Adam made history as the first woman on the U.S. Paralympic mixed team. With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain Until one day, the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day, Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Major League Baseball, the Cubs defeated the LA Dodgers on Tuesday night 6-3, scoring 5 runs in the 8th inning. 3 of those runs came on Dodger errors. Seiya Suzuki with an RBI single. Pete Crow Armstrong had 2 RBIs. While the White Sox, they were shut out by the Cleveland Guardians. They lose 5-0. The White Sox committed 2 errors and were held to 5 hits in the loss. Lane Thomas with a 3-run home run for Cleveland. The Chicago Bears will be heading to Houston to take on the Texans Sunday night, coming off a Week 1 win against the Tennessee Titans where they did not score an offensive touchdown. The Bears may be without wide receiver Rome Odunze, who has suffered an MCL sprain and is week to week. Houston is coming off a Week 1 victory against the Indianapolis Colts. And in college football, Illinois will be home on Saturday at Memorial Stadium as they take on Central Michigan. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Come on out to the Country Donuts, that is, at Route 20 and Nestler Road. They're always open. Donuts are made daily using only the finest ingredients to ensure freshness. Their huge variety of donuts offers something to please everyone. Country Donuts doesn't stop at offering you the best donuts. Enjoy a delicious breakfast sandwich or stop in for lunch and try a bowl of their famous chili. Need a larger or special donut order for your office? Call 847-488-1900.
The Distance Social, your spot for great craft cocktails with meaningful conversation. Whether you're out entertaining a group or out for a memorable nightcap, The Distance Social is your spot for starting or ending the perfect evening. Located at 314 North River Street in beautiful East Dundee, Illinois. Go the distance and find your social at The Distance Social. All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. Hopefully everyone's having a good day so far. We're in the 12 o'clock hour, which means we're in the afternoon. Again, you're listening to WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk the Town. Check out our website, WRMN1410.com, for information about us. That's WRMN1410.com. To send some reminders out there, of course, you can listen to us live through the AM 1410 dial on your radio, whether it's at work, whether it's in your vehicle, or maybe at home. You can also, of course, take us anywhere with the app. The app is available for download if you go onto the Apple Store for Apple users out there, free download, or also on Google Play for Samsung users. When you download the online Radio Box radio player, you can install it, find radio stations from all over the world. You'll just be able to use the search bar as well here too. Just use the search bar. There's like a little toggle search there. And then you can listen to us anywhere. It always comes in nice, crisp, and clean. You can listen to us anywhere. Very good. You can also watch us live on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. You can also listen to us live through our website. So you can feel free to do that as well that way too. So multiple ways. Of course, you can also follow us on Facebook. You can feel free to do that. Very good. Don't forget weekly football contest presented by Rookies All-American Pub and Grill. We do have the weekly Pick Six. There you go. You can download the sheet for yourself under Learn More. You can take a look at our weekly lineup and also weekend lineup as well. Our goal here on WRMN is to have 7 days a week, 6 to 6 live local programming. We're here for you, absolutely. So we're in the works of that. It's WRMN, of course, 1410. We are celebrating 75 years of community broadcasting. Let's continue on here, and we'll go through the rest of what's going on today with National Day Calendar and also National Today. Today is also National Report Medicare Fraud Day today. Recognized today, representing the National Report Medicare Fraud Day. It affects all of us. And also, according to here, too, National Day Calendar, that 10% of all Medicare funds are lost due to fraud. That is 10% too much. The government spends $650 billion each year on Medicare, and $65 billion a year is lost to Medicare fraud. Yeah, I mean, no wonder why we have a national health care crisis. So it's very important to know this information. We can report Medicare fraud in two different ways, and each one provides very different results here. So one is to blow the whistle under the Department of Justice, the DOJ, reward program, which pays 15 to 25% of the amount DOJ recovers. The average DOJ reward for reporting Medicare fraud is $690,000. This is again according to nationaldaycalendar.com. Writing this here on this report. Some rewards have been also as high as $150 million. In addition, if you report fraud under the DOJ program, the government must open an investigation and inform you of the results. Today, over 3/4 of the government's Medicare fraud cases are DOJ whistleblower reward cases. Thus, the government is counting on whistleblowers to bring Medicare fraud cases to DOJ and receive a reward in the process. So that's the first way. The second way here, too, is reporting directly to the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services, the CMS, which runs the Medicare program. You can report fraud to CMS through its website or by calling the hotline too. The National Report Medicare Fraud not only brings awareness to the amount of Medicare fraud, but also provides the public with detailed steps of reporting it. It's good to report this for sure. So I want to show you their website here, reportmedicalfraud.com. It's letting me open the website. That's all right, though. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to find it here. If you go onto their page, you'll be able to find it. Reportmedicarefraudday.com is the website to go to report it. That's one of the days recognized today. We also have Day of the Programmer. Day of the Programmer, the 256th day of the year, honoring the innovators who continue to change the world one program at a time. The day is celebrated based on binary code. The number 256 is distinct to programmers, represented by an 8-bit byte. 256 equals 2 to the 8th power. This digit makes it the highest power of 2. That's less than 365. While translated to binary code, the day reads 1 space 0000 0000. I'm reading this. It's not from here, not from my brain. I'm reading this here for you. So it's in honor of programmers around the world. There's really hardly a person in the world who does not benefit from the tools of the programmer. I mean, we're seeing with programming too becoming so advanced that there's times when we need to take a step back and be like, oh my goodness, wow. And the thing is too, with programming too, important to recognize the things that go on behind the scenes. Some people, of course, might be used to, things at our fingertips on our phones. What you're watching right now on screen, what you're listening to, all things related to programming, what's happening, coding what it's being told to do, and then executing that as well too. So, I mean, our phones, you look at our phones, things like that too, all programming, all programmed on here. Here, I'm doing a little ASMR for you. And again, there's just a lot of advancements. Telecommunications continuing to advance thanks to programmers. The automobile industry relies on programmers for the latest brands to roll off the assembly lines. Security, society, and entertainment look to programmers for the latest of protection, design, and innovation as well too. So definitely something to consider too. It is definitely a job field that is very highly needed. Paying tribute to programmers or learning more about the programming. If you have an interest, consider pursuing a career. Technology careers are really on the rise, and they're going to continue here too. We're seeing this trend. So attending or hosting a job fair is important too. Developing your programming skills, taking courses. And the best thing to do, of course, is to, play around with it yourself too. Also doing that. But of course, you can also take courses on programming too. Lots of libraries, they offer it, absolutely. You can also share some quirky programming puns. Yes, puns. We know you love pressing F5. It's so refreshing, it says. So share your experiences, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely, we're seeing it on the rise here. As technology grows. So that is also recognized today as well. There you go. So that's on nationaldaycalendar.com, nationaldaycalendar.com. You can also check out nationaltoday.com. Recognized today, it's National Video Game Day today. How fun is this? Yes, National Video Game Day today. What's your favorite video game? Let us know. My favorite? Epic Mickey, the Wii version. I love the Epic Mickey games. Epic Mickey and Epic Mickey 2, both. I love those video games. Very fun. I always loved the PC games too. Not too long ago, it was a recognition of Hoyle. So Hoyle, one of the games I used to play was Hoyle Kids games on the PC. That was always a lot of fun. I played Ultimate Goofy Skateboarding was another one that I loved playing on the PC. That was a Disney game. And you used to get those games like in a cereal box. It was like a cereal box game, like CD that came in the cereal box. So I always liked those games. Low quality of CG, but still a lot of fun too. So games like that I like. Epic Mickey's a really fun one too. I love playing that. The Super Mario Galaxy is another one that I was a big fan of growing up in elementary and in middle school as well. There's still, I think I still haven't beaten entirely one of the games for Super Mario Galaxy. There's two games. The second one I still haven't completely beaten yet because there's a level I'm like, I can't get past this level. So there's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool video games out there. And again, we could go through a whole lot when it comes to video. I mean, literally, I could do a whole 3-hour segment just on video games. So there's so much to talk about here. We've talked about the early, in the past about the earliest video game beginning in the 50s. Space War, Tic-Tac-Toe, some of the cool games, virtual Tic-Tac-Toe. And we can see here, too, how far gaming has come. It has come a long way. It has come a very long way. It's come a long way. I mean, we're seeing with virtual reality, VR, and how it's come far that way too. What are some of the best gaming consoles? and things like that too. The time's 12:17. I'm going to skip a timeout this time, and we'll continue on because there's just a lot to talk about here too. And I also do want to touch base a little bit on what's happening in the area too. So we'll just continue on until the bottom of the hour news here. So what's some of the best gaming consoles? PlayStation rated as 38%, the other 38% Xbox, and Nintendo at 21%. Those are the top 3 of the best gaming consoles. I have an Xbox. I have an Xbox. I don't use it though. I have an Xbox and an Xbox 360. I have a couple games. I have one game for the Xbox, the Haunted Mansion game. That's another game that I really love playing there too. On National Video Game Day, maybe I should bring out, dust off the old Xbox and play that game from 2003. That is also one of my favorite games as well. I used to play it a lot with my friend Turner because he had the game he had the game at his house and got me interested in the game and Haunted Mansion, of course, as well. So yeah. So there's just a lot of cool games out there too. And this is a survey according to one of the top market research agencies, survey of 1,000 Americans. So some of the best video games listed here too on this survey list. At the top of the list, can you guess it? Super Mario. That's at the top of the list. The second one is Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty was a game I wasn't allowed to have as a kid. A lot of kids in my school had it though, and they would talk about it, and I'd be like, "Well, how come I can't have it?" And my parents would say, "Well, we're not the other kids' parents. We're your parents." I got it when I was a teenager though. I played it a couple times. But yeah, I was always more into like Super Mario games, the Scooby-Doo games, the Wii games, those ones, like Wii Sports. I love Wii Sports. All those good ones too. So Wii Music was another one that I always enjoyed. That I had a really great time with that. Some other, of course, the popular video games, Donkey Kong, GTA is a really popular one that you're seeing now too. Grand Theft Auto, Pokemon, Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog. I have a couple of those games too. Final Fantasy, Halo, Crash Bandicoot. One I'm kind of surprised I'm not seeing on the list here is Kingdom Hearts. That one was really popular when I was in middle school. Quite a bit of kids played Kingdom Hearts. That was one. Now, according to also this survey here too, how often do you play video games? Well, top of the list every day is 31%, rarely at 31, and the other 31, and then 2 to 3 times a week at 23. I'm in the number 2, rarely there. When I was younger, I did though, especially as a teenager. I liked playing the video games. So there's lots of cool things that you can check out there too. There's a lot of great mind games out there too. Mind games in a good way, not in a bad way, but like the puzzle games that you can play. I encourage also older people to play video games too, because that can be kind of a way to help to sharpen up your brain, keep you sharp. My grandpa used to play Angry Birds. That was his favorite game. And when I was on level 12, he was on level 200. And he'd be like, "Did you get the new Angry Birds update?" I'd say, "No, Grandpa, I didn't." So again, he was always, my grandpa, he was really always into technology. Growing up with a father who worked as an engineer, and then he worked as an engineer. Always loved being, doing hands-on work and getting very technical with things. So that's kind of where I learned my love for that too. So thank you to Grandpa for that. Very nice. So he always loved playing video games. He always had the latest of technology, and so there you go. So I'm very grateful to have had someone like that in my family. Very nice. So I help my parents with the technology too. They're like, "Now, why is this way?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you just do this," and they're like, "All right." So there you go. So it's National Video Game Day today. Yes. And there's a lot of other days here too. Today's National Chocolate Milkshake Day. So have a chocolate milkshake when you're playing a video game. That sounds like a lot of fun as well. There's also, here's an important day. It's National Police Woman Day. Recognized today. It acknowledges and celebrates the contribution of female police officers who enforce law and order around the country. Today, only roughly 10% of the police force in the United States is made up of women. National Police Women Day hopes to rectify that by encouraging more women to join the service. And there you go. Women empowerment is related to women education, and there are many scholarships around the world for women as well too. There's even a website called Scholaroo, has a list of top women scholarships that can help young girls choose their career path as well. So very good. I encourage you to take a look at this again here too. This is under today's holiday on nationaltoday.com. National Today. Also got some birthdays. Jennifer Hudson's birthday is today. Happy birthday to Jennifer Hudson. It's 2 Chainz' birthday too, as well. And who are some other ones? Sydney Sweeney's birthday is today as well. Oh, she's from Euphoria. She's from the HBO drama series. So yeah, there's a lot of great days here today on National Day, and today's also Are You Okay Day. I think this could also relate to encouraging people as well. So that's important. Absolutely. So we've got some good days here recognized today. This and more can be found on nationaltoday.com. That's nationaltoday.com. Chocolate milkshake day. That sounds delicious, especially if it's a coffee milkshake, like a mocha coffee milkshake. Sounds pretty good. A place I got to suggest to you, and of course, when it comes to their milkshakes, it's Al's Cafe. They've got some great milkshakes. You can also check out some other ones that have some great milkshakes there too. Freddy's Frozen Custard has them, of course. You can find a lot of other places. Van's Frozen Custard has good milkshakes there too. Al's Cafe, very good. That's one of my favorites to get the milkshakes. So some good places to check out here too as we take you out to lunch with WRMN AM 1410. What I want to do here is touch base a little bit here for the remainder of the time, talking about feeling the flow on the Fox Valley. Now, when I started the Out to Lunch show, which used to be actually the midday drive with Matt, that was from 3 to 6 back in the day when we started here under new ownership, and I started that show. I talked about earlier here about Feel the Flow on the Fox Valley. So we'll talk about them again here to refresh your memory. Feel the Flow is part of explorealgenaria.com, and this is a part of the website where it allows you a smooth getaway and a way to recognize what is along the Fox River. Now, the beautiful thing about this website, too, is if you scroll down closer to the bottom of the page, there's actually a nice drawing of the Fox River, along with, of course, we have these names of different towns and cities. And if you scroll down, it's like they are scrolling. It's like they are the words. It's like the letters are swimming across the Fox River. I think that is a beautiful website design. Very good choice as well too. So awesome for them to do that. So Fox River Attractions is where it's at here. You can find this is again on their website, explorealgenaria.com. This is along the Fox River Valley. You can find things coming up there too. You can check out downtown McHenry and Riverwalk, as well as Stickney Run Conservation Area too, with also some links as well within the McHenry County. You can view all that information there too. We'll definitely have to do some more of these town highlights, and we'll kind of go down the river here with the Fox River Valley, talking about some of these places in the near future too, which of course, you know, I always do talk about, but I think I'll bring back this website here to talk about it too, because it's a nice place to get some information on different cities and towns within the area. Fox River Grove is another one you can check out here too. They've got their Lions Park, so if you want to go out to the park, you can visit them too. And they have also some eateries around the area too. You can try out their picnic shelter. They even have a baseball field here too. Sand volleyball court. That's fun to play sand volleyball. I love playing sand volleyball. Basketball hoops located at the far end of the park. Also local town events. So you can check out everything that they have, amenities. They have a fishing area, picnic area. They also have playground equipment there too. So good to check it out. That's foxrivergrove.org is their website to go to. You can check out all things related to the community, anything coming up here, if they're having any block parties. Learn a little history, of course, here too, always good. So we'll click on the block party, see what's coming up here too. You can actually get a block party permit application. So you can submit a written request there. if you would like to do that. Community organizations, do a little research on that too. You can join the Fox River Grove Lions Club, which started in 1939, part of the District 1J, and it's one of the oldest active Lions Club in existence. So if you want to learn a little more information on that, you can click on their link and go to their main website as well too. So lots of things to check out here within the area, just of the Fox River Valley, or really just within Fox River Grove. Because remember, there's always something to do within this area. That's something that's very unique about the Fox River Valley in and of itself, is all of the neighboring cities and towns. They always have something fun going on too. There's no dead zones. Everything is very active within the Fox River Valley, and it's such a privilege to be able to work here at WRMN, where we get to cover this. We get to show you what's going on. It's very exciting. There's always stuff going on here too. You can never miss. There's always stuff that you can do every day. Every day there's something you can do. I mean, coming up here October 1st, pumpkin decorating contest that's going to be beginning in Fox River Grove. They're going to be having that. So, I mean, just a lot of cool things. You can check out the latest news. So here's some of the latest news there too. That comes out. Last thing was posted in June, so a little like 3 months ago, but still some good news there. You can check out, of course, things when it comes to the board agendas and minutes, village codes. So if you're new to the area, you can check out the village codes there too. And they provide that information for you, which is good. So definitely good to check this out. You can also touch base, of course, like with Algonquin, the historic downtown Algonquin, the Cornish Park as well. So a lot of these along the Fox River attractions here, a lot of them tend to be a little bit more of those outside attractions that you can find. And then, of course, you can further your research and check out those highlights of the towns. Absolutely. So much to talk about here on Out to Lunch. You can feel the flow on the Fox Valley with WRMN, also covering them here too, as we are part of the community for the community here. We are WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk the Town, giving you the latest in the news, telling you what's happening in the area. We keep you in the loop, down the stream, the Fox River. Absolutely. Going back and forth. Town highlights. We're going to take a quick time out here. We'll be back with more as we get into the bottom of the hour news and messages from our sponsors. We'll take it to our Tradio segment after that. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Bank of America Merrill Investments. This weekend, Elgin comes alive with the vibrant Fiesta de Elgin celebration honoring Mexican Independence Day and ushering in Hispanic Heritage Month. The festivities are set to transform downtown Elgin and Festival Park into a cultural spectacle. The Elgin City Council has streamlined the payment process for 3 key local taxes: motor fuel tax, hotel or motel rental tax, and the alcoholic liquor tax. The new system allows businesses to handle their obligations more conveniently via an online platform. In a thrilling display of talent and perseverance, Naperville North alumna Sarah Adam clinched a silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris. The monumental achievement followed her victory at the 2023 Parapan American Games. Competing in wheelchair rugby, Adam made history as the first woman on the U.S. Paralympic mixed team. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
The new John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. NFL, the Bears will be heading to Houston to take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans on Sunday night. Bears coming off a Week 1 victory against the Tennessee Titans. Houston coming off an opening week victory against Indianapolis. Chicago may be without wide receiver Rome Odunze, who has suffered an MCL sprain and is listed as week to week. The Illinois Fighting Illini will be home at Memorial Stadium on Saturday as they take on Central Michigan. The Fighting Illini 2-0 after their win against 19th-ranked Kansas last weekend. The Cubs defeated the LA Dodgers Tuesday night in Los Angeles 6-3, putting up 5 runs in the 8th inning. 3 of those runs coming on Dodger errors. Seiya Suzuki had an RBI single. Pete Crow Armstrong had 2 RBIs. While the White Sox, they were shut out by the Cleveland Guardians, losing 5-0. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I need a printer for the office.
Staples has the best brands, like HP.
Well, I have some demands.
Oh.
Burton Sales demands it be fast.
HP's Office Jet Pro is super fast.
Megan Marketing demands color prints.
Check.
And Kurt the Controller demands I don't overpay.
With Staples hot deals, you get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
demanding?
I was gonna say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on select HP printers, America's most trusted printer brand. Ends 9/28.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch. And of course, you know what time it is. It is our Tradio segment. Tradio, if it's got to go, put it on Tradio, to quote Westside Fred here. If you're looking to buy, sell, trade, and or announce to the Fox River Valley area, feel free to give me a call, 847-931-14. Goodness me, 1410. Again, that's 847-931-1410. Is that number to dial. So we do have, of course, here some Tradio announcements, quite a few within the past roughly month or so that we do want to announce here too. So again, 847-931-1410 is the number to dial, 847-931-1410. Let's hop right into it here. I'll also set the date here for the 12th so that in case anyone else calls in here, we can add them to the list. Now, remember here, too, like I always say, if you don't feel like, of course, announcing it through the AM 1410 dial, you can text it to us. The lines are open here. If you want to text us your Tradio announcement, it's 505-926-1410. Again, 505-926-1410. 505-926-1410 if you'd like to do that. You can feel free to, if you want to. We'll take it to the first Tradio caller, couple from yesterday here that we had. We have Jerry calling in, and he's located in South Elgin. Now, what he has here is a 1978 Corvette for sale. It's an anniversary special colors, silver and gray with 54,000 miles on it, as well as good tires. He's asking $15,500 on that, but he does say that we can make a deal. If you're interested in reaching out to Jerry, that number is 331-442-1856. Again, that's 331 442 1856. Another Tradio caller here. This is Dave calling in from South Elgin. Now, he has 2 items here for sale. He has a janitorial cart. It's about 3 feet high and 1.5 feet wide. So you can squeeze it into small places for good storage. It has a little bag that comes with it, as well as a place to put the mop bucket. And of course, it does come with the mop bucket and also 2 mops as well. Also here, it comes with some great cleaning supplies, etc. He's asking $50 for this. The second item that he has for sale here is a little giant ladder system. Now, what that means by little giant is that it folds up. So it's fully extended. It's about 23 feet, and it folds in half. It also comes with stair adjustment hardware and also 2 work platforms with it. There's also a heavy-duty and sturdy ladder. It's a heavy-duty and sturdy ladder, asking $150 for it. If anyone is interested, feel free to reach out to him. That number is 331 588 0493. Again, that's 331 588 0493 is that number to dial. Let's see here. Another Tradio caller here has some furniture for sale located out in Wayne, Illinois. Now, not just furniture, some other really cool stuff here too. A dining room set that's marble, queen size bed, some antiques as well, including dressers, tea tables, office furniture, also 2 old radios, 2 pianos, including an upright piano. They're in great condition. She's got some bookcases, some typewriters. She even has a 1976 Spitfire. Comes with a hard top. And if you're interested, you can feel free to give her a call. That number is 630-267-5543. Again, that's 630-267-5543. We'll take it to the phone lines here. Hi there, caller. You're on with WRMN.
And how is Mr. Matt today?
I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just left Flamin' Hot Deals. It's
oh, boy.
50-cent day.
Is that today? Today's the 50-cent day.
It is 50-cent day today.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, I did spend $18.50, but $1.50 of that was tax, so... But where else can you get 34 items for 50 cents each?
I know, right? This is the one in Carpentersville, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my
yes,
goodness.
Sir.
Well, tell us about some of the items that you got.
So I got some things that were in boxes that he could have opened at the register and I would see what they are, but for 50 cents, I'd rather have the surprise of saying, ooh, yeah, or ooh, yeah. So
yeah,
we'll wait and see on those later. But there was something I bought last week, which was very interesting. It says it was a ice cube tray, but when you open the box, it's interesting. It's got a silicone tray, and it has the number 1, 2, 3 on it, and it's like on a peg in the middle. And then I found out later what they're for. It's for your Stanley. So what you do is you put water in there and you freeze it so that when you take it out, these are different sizes of different Stanley's cups, and it sort of produces like a glass ring that's about 3 or 4 inches tall, so that your soda gets cold from the outside in, and that way it doesn't interfere with your straw.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a great thing to have.
For 50 cents, yeah.
Yeah, for 50 cents.
The 1, 2, 3 is for the different sizes. The 3 is the biggest, so that's for like your 40-ounce one. And then the 2 is for the next size down. I think it's a 30. And then there's a smaller one up from that, the 1. And sometimes I've seen them where they're shorter, but something as simple as that. And they have a whole bunch of stuff for like birthdays. So if you wanted a package that had 12 forks, 12 knives, and decorations of a banner and some balloons and stuff like that. Hey, for 50 cents, how can you go wrong?
Absolutely. You can get some good stuff there for 50 cents. Definitely things to help you out planning your party, event.
And, depending, it's not going to fit everybody's, but they do carry a lot of filters, whether it's for your refrigerator or for some other purpose. You have to know exactly what you want, or you could just buy it, luck of the draw and see what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, though, too, is there's a lot of things there that are just like they're in boxes. You can't open it. But again, for 50 cents, that's not too bad. I mean, if it's a hit or miss for a couple 50 cents, that's really not bad at all.
Yep.
So.
Sounds real good, sir. I bought something last week, which was interesting. Somebody said, oh, this is a dog care kit, but it wasn't. It was actually a pool table cleaning kit with a brush and the sticky stuff you would normally for getting lint and stuff off of your table. So stuff like that. I looked online. It's about $15. So for 50 cents, what can you say?
Good stuff, good prices, all at Flamin' Hot Deals. That's why they call it Flamin' Hot Deals, because it's Flamin' Hot Deals. Very, very cool.
You have a great day.
And you as well. Thanks so much for calling in again. All righty, we've got that caller there talking about Flamin' Hot Deals. Pretty cool place to go to. Why are they called Flamin' Hot Deals? Well, because the words are in there. It's Flamin' Hot Deals. You get some really good deals. 50 cents. Oh, my goodness. You just saved 50 cents. You know that meme? I just saved, oh no, it was 30 cents. I just saved 30 cents. Anyways, so very, very cool. That's awesome. Thanks again for calling in. Taking a look here, we've got some other Tradio callers here that have called in. We've got Mike looking for some comic books, anything from the 1990s and before. Old toys, vintage Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and baseball cards as well that he's looking for too. He's got cash in hand. Give him a call. That number is 847-489-9263. Again, that's 847-489-9263. Another Tradio caller here. This is Wood by Jeff in Elburn. He's got the garden stakes. He has the canning jars and fishing lures, as well as here too some other free items. He has an aromatic cedar wood. They're scrap pieces. Has some shelving boards, concrete boards. He has a piece of a hand railing, also a piece of a pegboard, and also firewood. And then he also does have some window screens that are adjustable, 2 large and 2 small ones, 4 of them for free. And then he also does have here too, he has the tornado shelters, as well as here too, some maple pieces. They're 2x6 for $2 each on those. And then he also does have here too, that he's looking for a truck or a minivan, but he could also trade with the shelters. If you would like those shelters, he can do a trade there if you're interested, as it is Tradio. So if you want to give him a call, that's 630-365-9488. 630-365-9488. We'll take a quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN in our Tradio segment. Stay tuned.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
The Distance Social, your spot for great craft cocktails with meaningful conversation. Whether you're out entertaining a group or out for a memorable nightcap, The Distance Social is your spot for starting or ending the perfect evening Located at 314 North River Street in beautiful East Dundee, Illinois. Go the distance and find your social at The Distance Social.
Looking to get your fingers on some delicious grub? Look no further than Sticky Fingers in Carpentersville. Family owned and operated, Sticky Fingers specializes in chicken, fish, and shrimp, which you can choose to have dusted with flavor or doused in the sauce of your choice. Sticky Fingers strives to provide flavorful food with fresh, locally sourced ingredients. Sticky Fingers personally invites you to stop by and try one of their scrumptious dishes today.
For exceptional home-cooked meals, visit the longest family-owned restaurant in Elgin. Paul's Family Restaurant at Lawrence and McLean takes pride in their fresh daily specials like steaks, fish, pasta, soups, and more. Paul's fresh buttermilk pancakes and breakfast skillets are phenomenal. As you walk in, you can't help but notice owner Elaine's wonderful eye for detail. The toughest decision you'll have to make is what size leftover box to take home. Call 847-695-8687.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Hope that guy's okay. It was right in front of the shawarma stop here. He kind of slipped a little bit. Thankfully, he's okay. I think his food spilled a little bit, but I think he's all right. That's good. Because he was kind of like falling down the stairs a little bit there, so thankfully he's okay. That's good. I'm not laughing. I'm just like, I'm glad that he's all right because I just saw him slip for a bit there, so that's good. Good thing he's all right. Keeping on the lookout for people here too, of course. Always important, making sure that everyone's all right. Absolutely. So we'll continue on here, going through some more of the Tradio callers that have called in. We have Greg. He's looking to buy those old bicycles. Now, what is included with this that he's trying to look for? Well, of course, balloon tires, bone shakers, Schwinn bicycles from the late 1800s to the 70s or 80s. They can be parts, pieces, and or accessories in any condition. He is also looking for vintage Omega watches, men's or women's watches, and then also diver-style watches. Now, he's a collector, not a dealer, so he'll pay top dollar for these items, and you'll be set and ready to go. And then he also has here some items for sale. Now, he has a Tektronix 535A electrical tester, $90. Or best offer. What he also does have here too is a car for sale. It's a 2003 Ford Mustang convertible. Now this car is very well taken care of. It has new tires, new brakes, 81,000 original miles on it. The color is a charcoal gray with a nice leather interior. The CD player doesn't work in it, but you can take a look at it and make him an offer. And you can give him a call. That's Greg. That's 847-884-6033. Again, that's 847-884-6033. Another Tradio caller here has an RV fridge for sale. It's a Dometic RV fridge in the color silver on the front. The dimensions are 23 inches in width, 42 inches in height, 23 and a half inches deep. The model is a 2554 AC/DC model and AP gas with electric 12 volts. Now, he originally paid $800 for this. He's asking $450 on that one. He also has some new tires. They are P235 by 70 by 16. 4 of them in total, $100. He's located in McHenry on the north side there too. If anyone is interested, feel free to give him a call. He can be reached at 815-245-0670. Again, that's 815-245-0670. Another Tradio caller here, John, has a couple items for sale, including an autographed Walter Payton football helmet. Now, this football helmet is full size, and the asking price on this is $200. He also has a simple display case. Now, this display case includes approximately 20 real casino chips that are collections. Included in these are, of course, chips used from businesses that are no longer in business. Some of them are still in operation. This is $100 worth of chips, and he's asking $125 for the chips and also the case. You can send you pictures too if you want to, see what it looks like. feel free to give them a call. That number is 630-440-1504. 630-440-1504. Next on the list here, we have Motorcycle Tony. He's looking for those motorcycles, dead or alive. And then he also has a trailer for transportation, as well as cash in hand. Not only that, he's also looking for a VW bus. So a VW bus from the 60s, 70s, or 80s. And then he also has a friend looking for a small house in the McHenry area or Fox Lake area, either to rent or purchase, 1 or 2 bedroom house. So if anyone has anything there too, know of anyone, or you're interested in reaching out to Tony, that number is 630-335-3312. Again, that's 630-335-3312. We have Carl has the boat for sale. It's a 14-foot Lund, 1970 model. It has an 18 horsepower Mercury motor on there too, and it also has a trailer that comes with it as well, and everything works well. If you want to give him a call, that number is 630-951-1998. 630-951-1998. The asking price is $1,200 or best offer. So that's $1,200 or best offer. Some other Tradio callers here too. We have Westside Fred looking to buy those old school Star Wars figurines, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Power Rangers. That number to dial 630-677-4794. 630-677-4794 is that number to dial. Another Tradio caller here, Vicky, looking for the Spanish books for kids, located out in Carpentersville. That number is 847-845-1763. 847-845-1763. Another Tradio caller here, Northwest West, about the St. Mary's raffle fundraiser. $10 a ticket, 3 $50 drawings, one $1,500 grand prize drawing. And winners are returned to the drawing, so you can win multiple times. If you are interested, give them a text or a call. That is 630-817-8880. Again, 630-817-8880. We also have Antique Jim. He buys those antiques. Pay a good price on them too. If anyone's interested, that number is 847-414-7267. 847-414-7267. And then, of course, we have here Bill sells posters at gmail.com. That's the email that you can email him at, because he's got original theatrical posters from the 50s to the 80s. If you're interested, you can also text him too. That is 708-793-3980. Again, 708-793-3980 is that number. And those are the Tradio callers. So if you want to give me a call, we still have a couple minutes left. 847-931-1410. What we'll do here is we'll talk a little bit about some things coming up here. And actually, there is something actually happening currently right now. So this is 17th annual Health and Wellness Just for the Health of It Expo. Now, this is currently happening right now, and it's still going on for another 2 hours. So you'll still have time to go on out to this expo. It's going on now until 3 p.m. This is called Just for the Health of It. The Hanover Township Office of Community Health is excited to be hosting right now their 17th annual Health and Wellness Just for the Health of It Expo. Local vendors attend this popular event, and what they do is they showcase their services and provide valuable preventative screenings and resources in the areas of physical, mental, and environmental and financial health. Fun and informative for the entire family, the expo also offers a kid-friendly zone equipped with a bounce castle, screenings for all ages, seasonal vaccinations, as well as entertainment. So for more information, you can visit their website. That is www.justforthehealthofit.com. 4, the number 4, thehealthofit.org. Or you can also call our number 630-483-5665. So that is posted on there. That is under the events. That's currently happening right now, and that's going to be going on until 3 o'clock. So that'll be going on until 3. We'll take it back to the phone lines here. Hi there, caller. You're on with WRMN.
Hi. I have a Memory Craft 8000 embroidery sewing machine for sale for $100. And you can call me at 331-588-0423.
All right. You said it's a Memory Craft machine. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a sewing machine that embroideries.
Awesome. Thanks so much for calling in today. We're definitely going to pass that message along.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye now. All right, we have a Tradio caller number 1 today. For today, September 12th, she's got a Memory Craft machine. It's a sewing machine, asking $100 for it. So if anyone's interested, give her a call. That is 331-588-0423. Again, that is 331-588-0423. That's the number to dial. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Of course, people also here calling into the show today, being a part of the conversation, keeping you up to date with what's happening in the area here too. I think maybe tomorrow what I'll do is I'll touch base a little bit more with some of the theater events that are going to be coming up here as well pretty soon. You were listening to Out to Lunch with WRMN. Stay tuned for more local programming coming up here in just a bit. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.
Handing out food and drinks from an ice cream truck is off limits for marijuana-based businesses in Ohio, according to state regulators. Ohio's Division of Cannabis Control has proposed fines totaling $212,000 against 5 businesses for violating the state's advertising rules for marijuana sellers, the Akron Beacon Journal reported. Most of the fines involve promotions this summer ahead of beginning of recreational marijuana sales in the state. The largest proposed fine, $150,000, was issued to Greenleaf Apothecaries, which operates dispensaries in Akron, Canton, Cleveland, Columbus, and Wycliffe. Well, you have to say the advertiser was spot on. Greedy people of Ohio can show up for ice cream while they pay for recreational marijuana. It's a shame it becomes illegal to have hot food and drinks on your ice cream trucks. Guys, the hard part is over. It's legal. Stop being lazy and just Uber Eats your food order. Maybe the truck can sign up to be on Uber Eats. They can drive your food to you and cut a side deal with you for your recreationals. Like Tariq from the TV show Ghost. I'm Darian Sims, and this is how I see it.
How many times have you heard about or driven past the Volo Auto Museum and still haven't checked it out? They have over 200,000 square feet of heated showroom.
From New York, this is Democracy Now!
It's scary and frustrating that they don't know. It's like Mexico swallowed them. That's how I put it. They just vanished.
Missing voices. As the climate crisis intensifies across the globe, at least 196 environmental defenders were killed last year. We'll look at Global Witness's new report on the violent erasure of land and environmental defenders. This comes as Western governments, including the U.S., are increasingly targeting and jailing climate activists.
This climate crisis demands us to act drastically, radically, and promptly. We see governments being busy bullying climate activists.
Plus, we speak to the award-winning Cherokee journalist Rebecca Nagel about her new book, By the Fire We Carry, The Generations-Long Fight for Justice on Native Land.
By the Fire We Carry tells the story of a Supreme Court case that resulted in the largest restoration of tribal land in U.S. history. I wrote this book because I think the legacy of dispossession and genocide of indigenous peoples is a problem not just for our tribes, but a problem for our democracy in this country.
All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Gaza, another Israeli strike on a UN school being used to shelter displaced Palestinians has killed at least 18 people, including 6 UNRWA employees, making it the deadliest single day for the UN agency UNRWA's history. Wednesday's bombing of central Gaza's Al-Jaouni school led to chaotic scenes with survivors seen gathering scattered body parts. It's the 5th time the same school's been hit by Israel since October 7th. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry is demanding international protection against the, quote, war of extermination and displacement on our people, unquote. On Wednesday, Hamas reiterated it's prepared to implement the U.S. proposed UN-backed ceasefire plan announced by President Biden in June without any new conditions. Israel's military has killed 4 more Palestinians in the occupied West Bank as its deadly and wide-ranging incursion enters its 3rd week. Since August 28th, Israel's killed at least 50 people across the West Bank. In Tulkarm, residents were forced to abandon their homes, taking shelter in a mosque as Israeli forces destroyed houses and businesses.
They destroyed our houses. They displaced us. All the people in the camp left. My house was exploded. The army put explosives inside my house and exploded it. The bulldozers swept the house, and the rubble covered my neighbor's house. They forced us to leave the houses.
President Biden Wednesday called Israel's killing of 26-year-old U.S. activist, University of Washington graduate Aisha Ezgi Aigi in the West Bank totally unacceptable. This comes after Biden received backlash for his previous lukewarm remarks about her killing, which he dismissed as apparently an accident. Biden, however, has not called for an independent probe into her death. Turkey says it's opened its own investigation into the killing of the dual U.S.-Turkish citizen. Russia's military has launched a major counteroffensive to retake territory seized by Ukraine. On Wednesday, the head of Russia's forces in Kursk said troops had liberated 10 settlements in the region. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has departed Ukraine after committing to keep sending aid to Kyiv. Blinken, however, did not greenlight the use of U.S.-made long-range missiles against Russia as sought by Kyiv. This is Ukraine's foreign minister.
To defend our people, brave steps from all of our partners are necessary. It's important to lift all restrictions on the use of American and British weapons against lawful targets on Russian territory. We need decisiveness, also in regards to shooting down Russian missiles and drones in Ukrainian airspace. The further Ukraine can strike, the closer a just peace will be.
Moscow vowed a, quote, appropriate response if Ukraine used U.S. ATACMS missiles to strike deep inside Russia. In India, authorities have declared a curfew and shut down Internet access across the northeastern state of Manipur amidst a surge in violence between the majority Meitei and minority Kuki communities. At least 11 people have been killed in recent fighting that includes weaponized drone attacks on civilians launched by suspected Kuki fighters. More than 200 people have been killed since the violence broke out last year. Tens of thousands have fled the region. On Wednesday, student protesters marched to demand an end to the violence.
Should we choose war or should we study? Which side should we choose? Governor, respected chief minister, respected president, etc. Please provide the means to stop violence in our small state of Manipur.
The UN reports 3.2 million children across Afghanistan face acute malnutrition nearly 23 years after the U.S.-led invasion of Afghanistan in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. Nearly half of Afghan children are stunted, meaning they aren't growing to their full potential due to hunger. The BBC recently profiled a hospital in eastern Nangarhar province, which said 700 children died in the past 6 months of hunger and largely preventable diseases. In related Related news, Australia's military says it'll strip several senior commanders of distinguished service medals after a 2020 report revealed Australian Special Forces members committed war crimes during their operations in Afghanistan, unlawfully killing at least 39 prisoners and civilians. Australia's defense minister says prosecutors are also considering charges. In Venezuela, the government of Nicolás Maduro is threatening to cut ties with Spain after the Spanish Congress voted Wednesday to recognize opposition leader and former presidential candidate Edmundo González as president-elect of Venezuela days after he was granted asylum in Spain. But Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, who reportedly is meeting with González today, said he will not recognize González as Venezuela's president. This comes as Human Rights Watch warns Venezuelans who have attempted to flee the country, including during the post-election crackdown on protests, have few options for asylum or protection in neighboring countries, leading them to attempt to cross the treacherous Darien Gap. This is Human Rights Watch Chief Tarana Hassan.
Cases of asylum seekers and migrants we spoke to at the border, they said that they had actually watched the security forces open fire and shoot and kill protesters. They had watched the colectivas searching for those who participated in the protests.
Peru's former authoritarian president Alberto Fujimori died Wednesday at the age of 86. Last year, a Peruvian court released him from prison on humanitarian grounds. Fujimori had been serving a 25-year sentence since 2009 for human rights abuses, including kidnapping, bribery, and ordering massacres by death squads. Back in the United States, the father of an 11-year-old Ohio boy who died in a traffic accident involving a driver from Haiti is demanding Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and other Republican leaders stop using his son for political gain. Vance recently referenced 11-year-old Aiden Clark as part of the far-right attacks on Ohio's Haitian community. Nathan Clark addressed the Springfield City Commission Tuesday.
They can vomit all the hate they want about illegal immigrants, the border crisis, and even untrue claims about fluffy pets being ravaged and eaten by community members. However, they are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio.
A new report tracking nearly 1 million births in New Jersey found doctors are far more likely to submit black birthing parents to submit birthing patients for cesarean sections over white patients with similar medical histories. The study, published in the National Bureau of Economic Research, found unplanned C-sections on black patients are more likely to happen when hospital surgery rooms were empty, suggesting a financial motivation since surgical births result in higher medical bills. Harvard's revealed the percentage of incoming students who identify as African American or black dropped to 14% this year after the Supreme Court rolled back affirmative action at college campuses. That's down from 18% the prior year. Brown, MIT, and Amherst also reported dips in black enrollment, though other universities, including Princeton and Yale, did not notice significant changes. Analysts say it could take a while to understand the full effect of the Supreme Court's ruling, which was widely condemned by colleges and civil rights groups. And Amnesty International is calling on President Biden to grant clemency to Indigenous leader and political prisoner Leonard Peltier, who turns 80 years old today after nearly a half-century in prison for a crime he says he did not commit. Leonard Peltier has always maintained his innocence over the 1975 killing of 2 FBI agents in a shootout on the Pine Ridge Reservation. His conviction was riddled with irregularities and prosecutorial misconduct. In a letter to President Biden, Amnesty International USA wrote, quote, "You have the opportunity to rectify a case that has long troubled human rights advocates and indigenous peoples worldwide," unquote. Vigils and other actions are being held today in Washington, D.C. and around the country. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world. As the climate crisis intensifies across the globe, we begin today's show looking at the targeting and killing of environmental defenders. A new report by Global Witness finds at least 196 environmental defenders were killed last year. The deadliest nation for environmentalists and activists was Colombia, where at least 79 people were killed, most of them indigenous, Afro-Colombians and farmers. Brazil had the second highest death toll at 25. Honduras had the most killings per capita. Meanwhile, in Asia, the Philippines is the most dangerous country for defenders. Global Witness found that about half of all Earth defenders killed in 2023 were indigenous peoples or Afro-descendants.
One high-profile case featured in the report involves the forced disappearance of the Mexican indigenous leader Antonio Diaz Valencia and the lawyer Ricardo Lagunas, who disappeared in January of 2023 after an anti-mining community meeting. Relatives of the men believe the transnational mining company Ternium was behind their abduction and possible murder. Antonio Diaz Valencia's grandson spoke to Global Witness.
It's scary and frustrating that they don't know. It's like Mexico swallowed them. That's how I put it. They just vanished. My papa has been a social activist his entire life. He's an activist for the rights of the indigenous people, specifically the Nahua people, to whom we belong. He is a person who is very, very loved and known throughout the region for the work he has done. He has basically given his entire life to his region. It's what he loves the most.
They claim that they need to remove some of the land, some of the vegetation, certain streams, to continue exploiting the terrain.
That was the voice of Mexican indigenous leader Antonio Diaz Valencia, who was forcibly disappeared in January of last year after attending an anti-mining meeting. The new Global Witness report also condemns the police killing of the environmental activist Manuel Esteban Terán, known as Tortuguita, during a raid on a Stop Cop City encampment in Atlanta, Georgia. Tortuguita, who is 26 years old, was shot 57 times by police bullets while peacefully protesting the multi-million-dollar police training complex. No officers have been charged in Tortuguita's killing. We're joined now by Laura Furones, lead author of the new Global Witness report, Missing Voices, the Violent Erasure of Land and Environmental Defenders. She is senior advisor to the Land and Environmental Defenders campaign at Global Witness. She's joining us from Madrid, Spain. Laura, welcome to Democracy Now! Why don't you lay out your findings as wildfires torch the planet, as people are dealing with massive floods and hurricanes? Talk about those who are resisting climate change and what's happening to them.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I think you've laid it out really well in the introduction. Unfortunately, 2023 was yet another appalling year for those who want to protect their lands and their environment. And we recorded the killing of 196 people globally, with stark differences between regions. But this speaks very clearly to the fact that everyone's really talking more and more, and rightly so, about the climate crisis globally. But the climate crisis is also very intrinsically linked to a human rights crisis. We're seeing the levels of violence that you were just describing before being more and more prevalent around the world. And we really fear that this will intensify as the consequences of the climate crisis become more apparent.
So, Laura, could you explain, first of all, why you think this violence against environmental defenders is increasing, and also why Colombia has once again topped the list for the number of environmental defenders killed?
Well, violence is unfortunately not seemingly going anywhere, and I think that really is linked to the fact that the climate crisis isn't going anywhere. So we've got all these people who are really at the front line of this defence, really trying to protect natural resources that many others want to extract, or trying to protect the lands that others want to devote to sort of large agricultural projects. The demand of commodities is growing around the world as well. So all of that, I think, combined makes for a very dangerous sort of circumstances that defenders have to work under. And as you say, in the case of Colombia, this is particularly tragic because year in and year out, this is one of the countries where we record the largest number of murders. You know, Colombia tops the ranks in 2023. It also did the same in 2022. And if we look back at all of the historical data that Global Witness has gathered ever since we started recording cases in 2012, then you still see Colombia coming up as number one.
And in Colombia itself, it's not a general population. It's disproportionately the people who are killed are indigenous Afro-Colombians and farmers. Could you explain why that's the case?
Yes, that's absolutely right. I mean, we're talking about Nasa people, Nawa people, indigenous people, half of all of the killings in Colombia. And in fact, half of all defenders murdered across the world, 49% globally, are indigenous peoples and Afro-descendant communities. And obviously, this is no coincidence. These are the people who live in those areas that are better protected. We know science tells us very clearly that indigenous peoples are particularly good at protecting the lands they live in. And so, you know, the decreasing number of resources, natural resources the planet has as we continue to extract them, are still in the lands. And they're having to fend off all sorts of pressures to destroy the lands, to see the lands destroyed, also often in the absence of the state. So we're talking about often very, very remote areas where defenders are, indigenous defenders, Afro-descendant defenders are pretty much alone and having to stand up to protect the lands and the natural resources. And it's in that sort of standing up and confronted peacefully that they're attacked.
Next month, interestingly, Colombia is hosting a major UN summit on Convention on Biological Diversity. If you can talk about who is held responsible for these killings and disappearances, and then also talk about the number 2 country, which is Brazil.
Yes, I think the question around who is responsible really is one of the key questions. And unfortunately, to this day, the majority of the families whose relative defenders are murdered are asking the same question, and the answer is, we don't know. And we don't know because of a number of reasons. One has to do with, you know, just not having enough information about what's happened, who has committed these murders, and more specifically, one of the largest problems that, of course, defenders around the world are facing is impunity. Sadly, very, very few cases end up with a court sentence, you know, with data, with sort of research that concludes, you know, that can shed some light around who has committed the crime. If we're lucky, we might see, you know, hitmen, hired assassins who are put in jail. But it's very, very rare. There's only a few, sort of handful of cases where the intellectual perpetrators, in other words, those who pay for the murders, those who want the defender murdered in the first place, it's very rare that we see those cases, you know, leading to jail sentences and other sort of judicial consequences. In the case of Colombia, I think you rightly mentioned that Colombia is hosting CBD in just over a month, in fact. And, you know, I think Colombia, precisely because it's one of the most dangerous countries for defenders, has this fantastic opportunity to just lead the way. You know, they're hosting this big conference. They've also just ratified the Escazú Agreement, which is a very, very important agreement at a regional level that, you know, is about access to information. It's about access to justice, all these things that defenders and their relatives, the families desperately need. And in fact, the Colombian government has actually been making quite encouraging noises about the importance they give to protecting defenders, something we hadn't seen before in the country. So we're quite hopeful that these, you know, that this kind of entails serious commitments. Obviously, we're not seeing that, however, translate into reality quite yet. And so the figures still show Colombia sort of ranking at number 1, way ahead any other country around the world.
And Laura, could you talk about the context in which these murders take place principally, in particular the role of the mining industry, of deforestation? If you could just elaborate on the context, where are these environmental defenders working, who are the corporations, and what kinds of corporations are involved?
Yeah, so To give you an example, we're talking about obviously a very broad diversity of cases. But, a classic example will be one where maybe a defender in Mexico, you talked about this disappearance of 2 Mexican defenders. So, maybe a defender in Mexico or Brazil or Colombia or the Philippines might be standing up against a mining industry that's trying to come and operate into the lands without even consulting them. It's very common that we see sort of corporate interests coming to those lands where defenders live and, starting the projects and not really consulting with them. Often the very first thing defenders see is, bulldozers coming into the lands, and they've never heard of what's going to happen to those lands, and they never see any of the benefits that the large corporations get after those attractions. And although it's kind of very difficult, going back to the point about impunity and lack of information and lack of just, making sure that the cases go through, proper investigations, it's very difficult to establish direct links between the murder of a defender and a specific corporate sector. However, what we have been able to identify for 2023 is that mining came up as the largest corporate sector linked to defenders. And this is also true for our historical data. Mining sector is number 1 over the last 12 years. And, other prominent sectors obviously include large agribusiness, they include logging interests, they include, dams, they include all sorts of infrastructure. It's kind of large projects that very much happen without any consultation.
So, and Laura, before, as we begin to wrap, if you could talk about, the fact is that the report finds that Latin America is the continent which is the most dangerous for environmental defenders. But explain what's happening in Asia and in Africa. According to the report, only 2 environmental defenders were killed in the DRC, but we suspect that the number is far higher. So what is happening across these 2 massive continents, Africa and Asia?
Yes, so that's absolutely right. Obviously, the levels of violence in Latin America are truly appalling. The problem is real, and we actually are probably also underreporting in Latin America because it's not always easy to get. Sometimes families won't be prepared to raise concerns about attacks because they'll fear reprisals, and so this is already true in Latin America, even if it already reports very high numbers of murders. But this becomes even more challenging in other contexts. So Africa and Asia, as you mentioned, are good examples where we're absolutely certain that we're chronically underreporting. And this is for a number of reasons, including, the difficulties in accessing information, which are way higher in those regions, particularly in some countries in those regions. It also speaks to civic space being very highly restricted. But it also speaks to the fear of people speaking up, And so you mentioned DRC. DRC is a country where we have documented a number of cases, most of them actually related to the Virunga National Park. No coincidence, again, that we're talking about some of the most biodiverse, some of the most natural resource rich regions or areas in the world, the Congo Basin. And we're talking about largely park rangers, so state officials, people who are hired by the state, should be protected by the state, and are even so murdered. So what is the hope for those who don't have that level of protection, for those indigenous peoples, for those Afro-descendant peoples, for those small-scale farmers who are being attacked? They have very little hope of being helped by the state.
I wanted to ask you, finally, about the United States, included in your report. Last year, police in Atlanta fatally shot the environmental activist Manuel Esteban Terán, known as Tortuguita, during a raid on a Stop Cop City encampment in Atlanta. Tortuguita was 26 years old, struck 57 times by police bullets while peacefully protesting the multi-million-dollar police training complex. No officers charged in their killing. As we wrap up, your final comments.
Well, I would say that, it's very easy to look at this through the lens of, violence happening elsewhere, in Colombia, in Philippines, in countries that are really far away from the US. But the case of Tortuguita, the horrible case of Tortuguita, really paint a clear picture of what's going on. Like the levels of violence might be different, but it's certainly true that in northern countries, killings might not be as high, but we can see across the US, across the EU, the UK, other sort of northern countries how the peaceful demonstrations that are, happening as the climate crisis intensifies are met with criminalizations, they're met with threats, they're met with other types of attacks. So I would really say that, I'd like to say that, it's really important that we link the two things together. What happens in producer countries where those mining companies or logging companies are operating is not dissimilar. It's linked to what happens in consumer countries. And we, activists in both global north countries and global south countries are fighting against the same interest and being met with very varying but, very worrying levels of violence.
Laura, we want to thank you for being with us. Laura Forones is lead author of the Global Witness Report, Missing Voices, the Violent Erasure of Land and Environmental Defenders. Speaking to us from Madrid, Spain. We'll link to that report. Coming up, Western governments, including the U.S., increasingly targeting and jailing climate activists as the climate catastrophe gets ever worse across the globe. Back in 20 seconds.
Nakatanggap ako ng sulat mula sa amin. Nakalarawan doon ng marami kong alaala. At bigla akong lumuha dahil ako'y sabik na sa lalawigan kong minumutya. Naghihintay pa rin ang irong ko.
Sierra Madre by Corita. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
We turn now to look at how many Western governments, including the United States, are cracking down and even jailing climate protesters. The group, Climate Rights International, has just issued a report titled On Thin Ice: Disproportionate Responses to Climate Change Protesters in Democratic Countries. This is a short video accompanying the report.
My name is Morgan. I'm a civil engineer from London, and as part of Just Stop Oil, I'm occupying the QE2 bridge. We just survived the first night up here. We're up here until the government makes a meaningful statement to cancel all new licenses and consents for oil and gas extraction, because oil and gas is killing us now and it's driving millions into poverty.
It needs to be done because we act on behalf of life.
Morgan Troland and Marcus Decker climbed the Queen Elizabeth II Bridge outside London to raise awareness about climate change. For 36 hours, they stayed on top of the bridge. For their peaceful protest, Troland served 14 months in prison and Decker spent over 16, the longest sentences ever for a peaceful protest in the United Kingdom. Decker, a German national, is now being threatened with deportation. The United Kingdom is not the only government responding harshly to climate protesters. Many democratic governments in the global north are passing harsh new laws which restrict the fundamental right to peaceful protest and imposing heavy penalties, including prison.
In Germany, which considers itself a strong democracy, a very free country, we're seeing increasing charges against climate activists who are part of peaceful civil disobedience actions. I would say it's one of the most terrifying effects that we're seeing worldwide as a climate crisis demands us to act drastically, radically, and promptly. We see governments being busy bullying climate activists.
The name Letzte Generation, which is the name of the group I belong to, translates to Last Generation. This name is derived from a Barack Obama quote, which was, I think, in 2015. We are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation who can do something about it. Maybe the most dramatic response from German authorities to the peaceful protests of Letzte Generation have been house raids on the accusation that these people were a criminal organization.
To me, climate activists are like the canaries in the coal mines. We're not protesting for fun. We're not protesting to gain on a personal level anything except a livable future.
The escalating impacts of the climate crisis and frustration with governmental inaction are fueling protests. Climate protesters in many Western democracies are resorting to the kinds of peaceful civil disobedience used by the civil rights and similar movements.
This is no longer action against climate activists, this is action against democracies and the freedom of the people.
The way the authorities are looking at us is basically as a problem to get rid of.
They're hoping with enough repression we'll give up and we won't get any building of the movement.
Many of these countries suppressing these protests have repeatedly pushed other, more repressive governments to allow protests. This is because they know that the right to protest plays a vital role in democracies. Protests allow individuals to advocate for change, hold companies and governments accountable for their climate commitments, and engage in public affairs to drive sustainable solutions. Yet just when they should be welcoming public concern about the existential threat of climate change, they are acting like the autocrats they criticize.
Somewhere at the end of January 2023, I got arrested with 7 other Dutch citizens who are very much worried about the climate crisis. And that was because we posted online that we were gonna protest against fossil subsidies in Holland.
Sloot and his fellow activists were detained before the protests and later convicted of the felony of sedition for inciting others to commit a criminal offense. Other climate activists have been held in preventative detention to stop them from attending protests.
I was detained and brought to jail in September 2023. We were about 45 people arrested out of these hundreds who had been protesting in the state of Bavaria. The judge, he asked me if I was going to continue doing these protests, and as we affirmed that, we were sent to jail for the next 10 days.
At a certain point, I realized that nonviolent civil disobedience was what was going to raise the necessary level of awareness about the climate crisis.
Peaceful civil disobedience, which involves an act of deliberate lawbreaking, is recognized as a form of exercising the rights of freedom of expression and freedom of assembly under international human rights law. Any punishment should be proportionate.
Our version of climate protest is to disrupt the public, to call the public into the conversation.
We went into the museum with washable nursery school finger paint, and we approached the little dancer in her protective box, which no other children in the world have. And it was never our intention to cause any harm. There is a difference between creating the appearance of damage and actually damaging and injuring things. My hands looked bloody and Tim's were black for dripping oil. Hello, friends.
And what these actions do is wake people up. It's designed to engage the public in their emotional centers.
We need our leaders to take serious action to tell us the truth about what is happening with the climate. And then we were arrested as we were expecting to be. The first charge was conspiracy against the United States of America. The second was a felony damage charge for injuring a National Gallery exhibit.
We're just doing this for our children.
Each of those charges have a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. and a monetary fine of up to $500,000. The conspiracy charge equated me with the January 6th insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol, trying to overthrow our government violently with weapons and massive destruction. And what I did that day at the National Gallery is completely nonviolent for the common good, which is what civil disobedience is.
Joanna made a plea deal due to a debilitating health condition and was sentenced to 2 months in a federal facility. Tim Martin is waiting to go to trial. Some climate protesters face restrictions on how they defend themselves against criminal charges. In some courts, climate protesters are being prohibited from discussing the motivations behind their actions, undermining their right to a fair trial. Instead of prosecuting protesters, government should see climate protesters and activists as allies. After all, they have been more successful than governments in raising awareness about this existential challenge.
The fact is that climate activism is not something you're born into, but it's something you stand up to do no matter where you are in your life. And I would say, from all the years of activism and for all the thousands of people I've spoken with, the one really most powerful answer to desperation is action.
A new video by Climate Rights International released along with the group's new report on thin ice, disproportionate responses to climate change protesters in democratic countries. We're joined now by two guests here in New York. The climate activist Joanna Smith, who was jailed for 60 days in federal prison for defacing an exhibit that displayed Degas' Little Dancer sculpture at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. We're also joined by Linda Lakhtir, legal director of Climate Rights International. So we just saw this video of what the climate protesters like Joanna are doing. But talk about the crackdown on them and why you focused on Western countries.
We started noticing that there were these harsh sentences being imposed on climate protesters in countries that traditionally have been very vocal about the right to freedom of assembly, that have criticized other countries about their crackdowns on protest. And so we thought it was an interesting thing to look at. And what we found is that in a number of these wealthy democratic countries, the sorts of sentences being used and the treatment of climate protesters is truly reaching a very repressive level. You have very long sentences being imposed. As you heard, you have people being put in preventative detention in order to prevent them from attending protests. You have water cannons and pain grips being used against peaceful protesters. So it's really striking how these countries who have held themselves up as beacons of rule of law are essentially repressing peaceful protest.
But it's also the case that the countries that we associate with having the most progressive climate policies, I mean, Holland, Germany, etc., that they're featured so prominently in the film and in the report as ones that are also cracking down on climate activists. So if you could talk about that, like what most surprised you in what you found?
I mean, it is surprising, but I think that although they are more progressive, they aren't moving fast enough. None of them are moving fast enough. And I think a lot of protesters are frustrated with lack of action by their governments. They feel like they have to be out in the streets because this crisis it's here. And the response has been, well, this kind of messes up our day. This causes disruption. I mean, the truth is all protest causes disruption, but the response by a lot of these governments has been to enact new laws, to arrest people, to ban people from protesting in order to essentially make it easy for everybody else to get around.
And of course, these Western countries, these so-called the advanced industrialized countries, are the ones that are causing the greatest amount of climate catastrophe. Which brings us to Joanna Smith, this protest you did at the National Gallery in D.C. For our radio audience, they might not have been able to picture what exactly you did with Degas' Little Dancer at age 14.
Yes, we decided that all of the things we had been doing as community activists, advocates, all of the electoral work. We were trying to get the right people in office. We were showing up to all the rallies and marches. We have been protesting at fossil fuel infrastructure sites. We have engaged our electeds, done citizen lobbying. None of that is working. As we just noted, the crisis is here now. It's unfolding in front of us, and our governments are failing us. What can we do as concerned citizens when faced with what is happening to our children's future and that of children around the world? Tim Martin and I decided that we needed to take some dramatic action. We wanted it to be peaceful. We wanted it to be nonviolent. But we wanted it to get the attention that this climate breakdown deserves. And unfortunately, mainstream media has not been covering it. You guys do a great job. You're an exception. We thought, how can we create the impression of the urgency of what's unfolding? So we did go to the National Gallery in our nation's capital. We chose Degas' very famous sculpture of a little ballerina girl called Little Dancer, age 14. We chose her because she was very protected. She is displayed in a climate-controlled box. She's shock-proof in this museum. Plexiglass on a pedestal. She's beautiful. The whole world loves her. There are copies of her all around the world. She stands for defiance in the face of vulnerability. Tim and I are parents. Tim has 2 boys. I have 2 boys. And we wanted to highlight a beautiful work of art about a child that the world values. And we wanted to make a point, which we did in our speech that we delivered at the gallery that day, that while this artifact of a child is so well protected and so beloved, we are sacrificing millions and millions of children around the world, particularly in the global south, particularly the children that are least to blame for our emissions crisis. And we wanted to challenge anyone who saw our protest to think about, what do we really value? What do we really hold true and dear? Is it a sculpture, or is it real children around the world?
And explain what you were charged with. 2 felonies.
Yes, we were charged with 2 felonies for gently applying washable nursery school finger paint to the outside of this property of the National Gallery. We never intended, nor did we, damage the art itself. But we wanted to create a symbolic act of, we rendered some symbolic speech. We applied black and red paint to the outside, the red symbolizing our human life force and our culpability in the crisis, the black symbolizing the oil and gas, the fossil fuel climate criminals who are wreaking the destruction. We created some very naive art of our own on the pedestal, illustrating some of the problems that are befalling our planet, massive extreme weather events, unspeakable heat, tragic fires breaking out all around the globe. And we illustrated that, and then we gave a speech about what we expect our government to do, which is take a lot more action and faster.
You pled guilty, and you've just gotten out of jail. You served 60 days, and Tim is about to go to trial.
That's correct.
I wanted to turn to Linda on this very interesting issue. At the end of the video, you talk about problems with what happens to protesters when they are charged and when they go to trial, saying they should be able to explain the science behind climate change and why their actions are in the public interest. Many people may not realize often you cannot explain this in court. They just look like people who came to deface beautiful art.
That is correct. In many courts, the judge will say, well, that's not relevant. Why you did it? You did this act. The only issue at court is whether you did or did not do that act. And there's actually been instances in the United Kingdom where the judge has told the defendants that they can't explain their motivations, and when they have spoken about climate change anyway, jailed them for contempt. So people are not only being forbidden from talking about the reasons why they have taken these actions, how they're motivated by their fear for the planet, for the future, for their children, but they're also actually being jailed if they try and make those arguments.
And so the jury, if there is a jury trial, never hears.
No.
And so, Joanna, if you could talk about, I mean, this was not your first act of a climate protest. You did many other things prior to this. If you could talk about the steps that you did take, and how would you advise young climate justice activists now? What do you think they should be doing?
Well, I think that the repression that Tim and I have faced here in the United States is designed to dissuade these young activists from doing what is necessary to address the current crisis. And what is necessary is to use our voices, to use our bodies, to use our political power to put an end to the desecration of our sacred and beautiful planet by capital forces that are only interested in greed and profit. But I would encourage people to do their homework about location, about jurisdictions, about what the risks that they may face entail. Most grassroots organizations that are doing direct action around climate are very well supported by legal teams. There's a lot of good advice out there about what your rights are as a protester. And it's a matter of insisting upon our government actually upholding our rights to free speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of association.
I want to thank you both for being with us. Linda Lockdear, Legal Director of Climate Rights International, and Joanna Smith, climate activist with the group Declare Emergency. We'll link to Climate Rights International's new report on thin ice, disproportionate responses to climate change protesters in democratic countries. Coming up, Cherokee journalist Rebecca Nagel, author of the new book By the Fire We Carry, The Generations-Long Fight for Justice on Native Land. Stay with us. Hell to the Liars by London Grammar featuring Nature. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
We end today's show with the award-winning Cherokee writer and journalist Rebecca Nagel. She's the author of the new book, By the Fire We Carry, The Generations-Long Fight for Justice on Native Land. The book looks at the more than a century-long fight for tribal sovereignty in eastern Oklahoma and what it says about democracy and the American empire.
Rebecca Nagel also explored the issue in the podcast This Land, which was nominated for a Peabody Award in 2021. Rebecca joins us here in New York. It's great to have you with us. Lay out the stories that you tell here in the book.
Yeah, so the book goes into McGirt v. Oklahoma, which was a Supreme Court decision in 2020 that resulted in the largest restoration of tribal land in U.S. history. And that case actually started in a surprising place. It started as a murder in 1999, and the man convicted of murder, Patrick Murphy, was sentenced to death by the state of Oklahoma. And his federal public defender came up with a novel legal theory. She said, you know what? Oklahoma didn't have jurisdiction to prosecute this man, let alone sentence him to death, because the crime happened on his tribe's reservation, Muskogee Nation's reservation. The state of Oklahoma said, well, that reservation, not only does it not exist, it hasn't existed for over 100 years. And that question went all the way to the Supreme Court. And really what this case was a test of, the law was clearly on the tribe's side. And the question was, would the Supreme Court follow the law, or would it capitulate to the demands of non-native residents in the state of Oklahoma and say, well, that's what the treaty says and that's what Congress says, but we're not really going to follow it. And the significance of McGirt, isn't that the Supreme Court overturned anything or striked anything down, but it was just that the court, when it came to Indigenous rights, followed the law. And sadly, that's quite rare.
And talk about the Cherokee Nation leader, Major Ridge.
Yeah, so Major Ridge is my great-great-great-great-grandfather, and he made a controversial decision along with his son, John Ridge, that impacted the history of our tribe. And so in the 1830s, the U.S. government had an unrelenting policy of ethnic cleansing, saying that all indigenous nations basically living within the U.S. at that time had to move west of the Mississippi. And the state of Georgia was terrorizing Cherokees on their own land. And my ancestors decided, against the will and the government of Cherokee people, that the best way for Cherokees as a people and as a nation to survive was to move west. So they signed our tribe's removal treaty. What followed that was the Trail of Tears. So U.S. militiamen and Army soldiers literally rounded Cherokees up at gunpoint, herded our tribe into open-air stockades, marched people west, and a quarter of the population dies. And so the book also shares that story to talk about why the contemporary land rights matter, how many generations of sacrifice have led to Supreme Court decisions like this one.
Can you talk about the Trail of Tears, Rebecca, and talk about the story of how it is sanitized and what exactly the 80,000 people that were forced west, what we're taught in school, if we're taught anything, and what in fact you unveil and reveal, and many Native Americans know. Yeah, I mean, it's a little wild, but historians actually still debate whether or not the U.S. committed genocide. The term at the time didn't exist. It was coined in 1944 during the Holocaust. The Cherokee word for our removal is Tgeja'i Lustana'i. It literally means when they drove us. It's the same word that we used to talk about herding animals. And so the Army built 25 open-air stockades, and in 25 days, they rounded up 15,000 people and herded them into those open-air stockades. One of the women that was being herded was actually given birth, and they wouldn't let her rest, and she eventually just sort of laid down on the ground and died. There was no sanitation or shelter in the stockades, and in a few months, thousands of people had died. People then had to walk west. The estimate is that 4,000 people died. There's a contemporary scholar that says with the sharp decline in birth rates, the total death toll is probably, or the total loss of life is probably closer to 10,000, and that's out of a population of 16,000. And I think people have this vague notion that, people had to walk a long ways and a lot of people died and it was tragic, but I think we don't have a concept of how violent some of these chapters of our history are, and how we haven't gone back as a country and said, okay, we committed genocide, this was wrong, we need to change our laws, we need to make sure that something like this doesn't ever happen again. We've just moved on and forgotten about it.
I mean, it's a deeply historic